This conference will now be
Yeah.
recorded.
This is Kumar, and I think it's along with the Expertsoft. I think this is a fourth batch we are running, and I had a multiple other training experiences, and I have almost 10 plus years experience in SAP GTS, working for multiple customers across the globe. Along with that, I have almost 16th year of my IT career. So starting with SD, MM, TM, EWM, IM inventory. So all those areas I had experience, and we have deployed multiple um, projects across the globe. You name it, we some or other area we have touched in that region and specific area. Exclusively coming to the GTS, we have deployed a lot many implementations. Starting my career started at GTS 8.0, then 10.1, GTS 11, E4H 21, 23, and 25 also we are deploying. So it's like a large experience across the systems, landscapes, challenges, what we used to see. And I'm going to have a quick demo with a simple example. But the idea is with this batch, whoever is going to be participate in this batch, we will make sure certain areas we are planning to catch up 100%, and while going we might need to touch base few other areas based on the audience and based on the participants. If they really need certain areas, for example, they need to know more on the TM GTS integration with web services and all, or some audience, more audience will look forward with like very like basic, they want to know what is GTS, how GTS implementation should work, how the basic compliance, customs and trade pref or intrastat will get deployed. We will cover that, and based on the audience we will little tweak our training model. However, we will try to touch base. I'm gonna go quickly with what is our general agenda for any of the training, but this is a high level guidelines, because we are gonna touch base. As I mentioned, SAP GTS is a system by offered by SAP and service to whole global trade operations. Okay, and why we recommend in the do you if you ask me that is it only tool available in the market? Not really, but when you are using an SAP's application from the other functional areas, 100% compatible. Along with that, SAP GTS also can do all your trade operations, trade regulations, trade compliance requirement, and all those respective areas can be support, not just with your SAP as a feeder system or a base system or any other systems. If it's a Oracle, if it's some other Microsoft Dynamics, you use any other application, also SAP GTS supports. That's why SAP has investing a lot on the SAP GTS nowadays, and they are they are, I think they recently deployed SAP GTS E4H, we call it edition for HANA 2025 also, and they have a roadmap for 27 and 29. So it is they are deploying. And what does it mean if you're all working in SAP? For I think I had quite a long experience with SAP. SAP also upgraded their career from ECC versions to S4 HANA. The same way SAP GTS also has their career, but not uh, that bigger, but I think we had 20 years of SAP GTS from the SAP as application. So SAP started 21 year back, and they keep improving their system based on the regularities, customer need, or the situations, or legal requirements, or changes what is coming across the market. One simple need, if you are trying to go for any customer proposal, right? Maybe they can ask, why do you need to implement GTS? My team can really support, or we can work with our brokers to get things done, right? You can, the answer is very much simple. This would be the possible case if you go back some 10 years back, or maybe 5 years back, or maybe 15 years back. But now global trade is drastically increased their business. That means that earlier, if you take me as a just an example, when I started my SAP career, and if I want to procure a product from different country, okay, just an example, I'm located in country X and I want to import a goods from country Y is a normal person. I'm not having any authorities to do that. It was very tough. I need to find a broker. I need to find a freight forwarder who has a authority to import my goods. Okay, and I mean it's long. Even if I have a direct contact with my seller, maybe if I'm importing some goods from China or I'm from Taiwan or Korea or wherever I'm importing a goods, but I have a direct contact with them. But I think I don't have option to import the goods into my country. Okay, it was like very much tedious process, and there's a very few companies used to, and the brokers also take huge amount of time. Look at now, if I want a product, I can simply place any application. I can get that delivered within maybe certain amount of days. So that means that number of transaction in the worldwide is increased drastically. With that, automatically number of risks are increased, number of challenges are increased, number of restrictions has to be. So in order to have all these countries started putting more and more restrictions and rules on a. If you ask me every day, you will hear one or other rule. I mean, if you are following global trade operations nowadays, if you just look at past 6 months, you had almost 30 new agreements with countries. I think recently even they have went with Philippines, Thailand. They have like, if you name any country now, EU is planning to have a free trade agreement with them. That means that they are trying to increase the business across the globe, not just to certain countries, which was the case earlier. So that means that the overall business model is very complicating, and we, in order to enable all these imports or exports from any country, local governments also increase their rules and regulation. Mean that if you want to import, you need to have adhere lot many regulations. With earlier state situation, manual validation, manual checks, it is not possible. So you need to have a proper tool which can able to make your business smooth and legally compliant. Okay, not just this, we also have benefits. Like for example, if you have procuring goods from internationally, and if you have a proper free trade agreement, I'm not going to talk more on that free trade agreement, but just to give you a high level brief, free trade agreement means it's kind of a agreement between two different countries or multiple countries to do a business with a little ease, maybe lesser tariffs or lesser duties. Maybe you all know that, I don't want to name it, a country recently started like, okay, if you don't do proper business with you, I mean, I will put 100% tariff on you. Okay, or I will put 200% tariff on it. What does it mean? For example, you are procuring goods of 100 US euro, okay, and they will put 100 extra for tariff. Means while you're importing 100 rupee, 100 euro or 100 USD product to a certain country, you need to pay almost that amount of money to the local governments or country where you're importing. So that will create a huge impact on our overall business model. For example, you used to procure a product from certain country, and that used to come with 50 euro, and you have a transport charges, you have a distribution, you have some all those system, all those, you might put some 30 euros and you used to sell it, and maybe 90 euros. So you have a 10 euros as a profit. Imagine you have 50, the same product is remain same from your seller, but your country is increased tariff on 50. Now what happened? You need to pay 100 just to get the product. Then imagine your transportation, your marketing, your sale, your distribution, your all those, right, advertisements and all. You need to at least to pay extra 40, and you need to sell with 150 euro. Imagine some other customer, other market vendor is selling with 80, or you're trying to sell with same product with 140, whose customer will really not trying to do business with you. So it's not just that legally requirement or legally compliant requirements. You also have your business model impact on overall business model. These all possible with SAP GTS. We'll deep dive quickly in next 45 minutes, and we'll also talk about what kind of a models, what kind of a training we'll be offering with this batch. We will, as I mentioned, GTS is does not really work independently. It work for other systems. Like if you are sending the data from your S4 HANA, maybe sales orders are creating in S4 HANA, GTS will support to whether that particular sales order is compliant, whether that particular sales order has a proper rules and regulation followed, does it has authorization to do sale. All those will be checked by GTS and send it back to SAP S4. Okay, the sales order is fully approved, you go ahead and proceed further. Then the deliveries gets created and the shipment will happen. The same way, if you're trying to create a purchase order, and purchase orders also means you are importing a goods from different country, means whether you have authorization to import the goods, whether you have authorization to do a business, all those will be checked in the GTS from the purchase order created by SAP S4. The same way, if you have other systems, as I mentioned, Microsoft Dynamics, or you have some third-party systems, or you have Oracle as a backend system, all those documents will come to GTS and get screened or get verified with all the requirements and send it back to the S4HANA system or respective system. That's why we always call feeder system. These all are feed the data from their other systems to GTS system, and GTS system will work for that those feeder systems. That means that we should minimum to minimum have a minimum understanding of few modules like material management, where we talk about procurement, all those aspects, and sales and distribution. We also talk about how the sales orders gets created, how the minimum order types or minimum required information will be talked about in this batch. We also gonna talk about a finance accounting, also gonna talk about EWM, TM. So these are the some of the areas we are gonna talk about. Not we are not going to give a training on those modules, but we will give you what you really need if you want to work on a GTS, or if you want to work on a GTS as a consultant or business person or whatever you want to work. You need to have a minimum knowledge on these feeder system. Kumar, if you ask me, will you go on touch base on Oracle or others federal system? No. This training is intended to base as a federal system as a E4 S4 HANA system, and GTS system as a E4H, which is the latest version. Okay, and as we gonna talk more on the GTS, how you have if you are working on SAP sales, or if you're working on procurement or any module, you will have a sub modules. You will talk about pricing, you will talk about archetypes, you will talk about business process, different, right? The same way GTS also have basically three major modules. Okay, one, it can be optional module. I'm going to talk about it, like sanctions party list screening. What we are trying to do in this module is we will gonna talk about more on how your sales orders or deliveries or procurement, purchase orders, anything, whether they are really compliant. That means that you are doing a business with certain person, X person. That X person is not a terrorist group, is not a restricted party in their country, or they are not restricted by globally anything, right? I mean, in a nutshell, if you are trying to do a business with a terrorist organization, okay, your company gets sued in soon. Okay, maybe once government is recognize that okay, you're doing a wrong business with a uh, denied party person in the worldwide, or a global trade is detected as a not a authorized person or not a right person to do a business. So if you're creating a one order in your system, you know, okay, this particular customer I know, so he's not a right person, so you will stop the business. But if you're creating your telecaller is creating a sales order in your feeder system, how the telecaller will know what whether this particular customer is a right person, or whether this particular vendor or a supplier, whether you are doing a business with certain employee, all those will not be able to detect automatically. Our manual intervention is not so easy. Okay, I mean, if you are doing a business extensively, or Kumar, I'm doing sales, one sales order per day, I can simply check. Yeah, then you don't need even GTS. You know that, but still, you are doing a business internationally. So there's a person in from some other country in some other region. He called you that okay, I want this particular product. Can you help us to sell this product? I will take care of all the transportation. So if you don't know who is he said that he will take care of all this his transportation, and you don't really worry about all your other registrations and all. He take care of it. But once country, your local customs authority recognize you are doing a business with certain person, and that certain person is a terrorist organization, then your customs will be completely sue your entire business. Okay, so you need a compliance system to handle all these requirement. That's what we'll handle in the sanctions party list screening module. Second one is the embargo screening. What it does here in this particular module is basically we will try to see whether that particular country, for example, I just take an example recently. Ukraine, Korea, Ukraine and Russia has a issue. So whole world, at least US, Europe countries put a embargo. I mean, there is a restriction on Russia. So if any country is doing a business with Russia, so that has to be stopped. Okay, so we can able to create a multiple. But if you look at some other countries, still okay to do a business with Russia. So you cannot simply put a block on Russia. So SAP GTS will give you a privilege how you can able to control your transactions. And the last one in the compliance area is a legal control. Here we will gonna talk more on how the system will really check whether your particular product has required authorizations, whether required licenses have, do I have to do a business or not? Am I doing a dual use product? Do I have authorization to do a dual use product? So all those will be able to handle in the compliance screen. These are all these three submodules under compliance management. Compliance management, if you now you understand it, what does it mean? Its system will make sure your business operations follow all the compliance requirements. Okay, like whatever you should not do, system will control by using these three submodules. This is one of the feature from SAP GTS. And I will quickly go to next model, which is custom management. So here we will talk more on how you do a business to export. You're exporting a goods to other country. So when you're doing export to goods to other country, you need to take permission from your local customs authorities. How that happens. In order to do that, you also need to talk about tariff, harmonized HS codes, and other required government agency related information. So those all will be talked about here. Here we're going to talk about import test declaration, export declaration process, and special custom processes and all. Then this is the second module. Coming back to third module, third important module is the risk management. Here we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, if you're doing a business with certain country, how duty you can save it, how much duty you can able to save while you're doing a business. If you switch your supplier from one country to another country or one supplier to another supplier because they can able to provide preferential treatment for the product. So you have a proper rules and regulations you're following, so you can able to import that goods with a lesser tariffs and all these will be handled in the risk management. Last but not least, but this is not always implemented in GTS. It can be implemented in GTS or it can be implemented in your own feeder system. In our case, S4HANA system. So we're going to talk about a little bit on intrastat reporting. This intrastat reporting basically used only in the European region. That means that if you are doing any business between any two countries in the European region, out of those 28, the system need to be reported at the end of the month to European Union, saying that okay, how much business you are doing with subsequent countries in within Europe. So this why they are doing it in order to make whole countries balancing. For example, Germany is doing a huge business with all other countries, and all other countries are not doing anything. So as a group, they will get Germany get benefit more, but others are getting less. I mean, they are losing their revenue. So in order to manage all those, European Union decided to asking all those countries who, I mean, all those companies who are doing business to report on a monthly basis how much you are doing export or import. They won't call export import, they will call arrivals or departures. How much arrivals you have, how much departure you have in each country to certain country from the certain source country, and they need to report. Based on that, they will collect some charges from that respective company. So this is at a high level overview of SAP GTS. As I mentioned, this is how our GTS training will go. But as I don't want to too much talk about what we are gonna cover, I'm gonna quickly demo one simple example in our system, and I will gonna talk a little bit on how you can able to navigate your system. Okay. With that, I'm just switching my presentation to SAP system. Okay.
Kumar, are you sharing the screen?
Yes. Let me stop and reshare again then. Are you not able to see my screen?
No, earlier also. Maybe due to my any restriction, browser restrictions,
I could see your screen before, sir.
or you log
Do you
into.
see my SAP screen? Can somebody come?
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
sure, Kumar. I will log into mobile as well. Okay, give me a
Yeah.
second.
Okay, so as I mentioned, we in this batch are in generally we have GTS system. Okay, this is our GTS system. We are using SF4 as a system. What we are using for our demo, and P23 is our feeder system. What does it mean? P24 is where our sales orders gets created, and E4H is where our GTS screening would happen. Okay, so let me go back and quickly create a sales order. Okay.
Kumar, sorry to interrupt you. Can you please reshare again, reshare and again share? I am not see your screen.
Anyone else have the issue?
I can see your screen, but you can reshare for the others.
I can try once again. Let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yes.
Which version of GTS it is? 11.0 or E4H?
E4H. It's a E4H version.
Okay. Naveen, hi, everyone able to see screen? Naveen Kumar screen? I couldn't
No,
able to
no,
see.
no.
Yes.
No, no, I'm also
Yes.
not able to see.
I tried to mobile as well. I tried to my laptop browser as well. Two things I couldn't see it. Due to the some network problem. No. Naveen, can you pitch in?
We can able to see his screen.
Because even if you look at my, I can validate my screen is present.
Yeah, I
However,
can
it's
see
not
your
able
screen.
to- maybe can I ask you to go out and log in again if you don't mind?
Yes, yes,
Sure.
yes, Kumar. Please wait. I'm log up.
Yeah,
I'm again.
yeah, please.
Hi Kumar. I am RR resigned. Are you
Uh-huh.
sharing screen?
I'm still sharing. I didn't stop my presentation, but let me share once again, and you can review and let me know.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. Hey, can you raise who has a problem with the screen? Just raise your hands. It's happening for me only or everyone? I don't know. I'm a couple of them at least.
Naveen, our team, anybody available to support?
Kumar, yeah, we can see your screen, Kumar.
But I think few.
Anyone is facing issue?
Yes, I'm facing. I'm not see. I'm just log out. I'm then
Naveen,
log in.
me too. RR.
Okay, Ramesh, you are facing the issue.
I'm
Yes.
also not able to see.
Who is that? Roshan.
Roshan, yeah.
Okay. Ramesh and Roshan, can you please rejoin and see once?
Uh,
Gomal, Kalyan, you can see the screen, right? Taransi.
yeah, I did. I did one time.
Yes, I
We'll
can
do
see the
one.
screen.
We'll do one more time now.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Naveen, I'm
Yeah.
log out again. I'm logging through app or through browser or through mobile. Which method I can log in?
Anyways, it's fine actually. That's not a problem actually.
But I'm rejoined two
Actually, I'm in a
times.
system and I'm in a mobile also. Both I can see actually.
But any setting we need to change or what?
Sorry, Roshan.
No, no, I'm Sangram. Okay, I'm saying we need to change any setting or anything.
Nothing. You just are you on the go to screen?
Yeah, yeah. Go to. I mean, go to.
You are in
But
the go to screen, right?
yeah, go to app. But in that app, I am not see your screen. Just I am
Okay.
see the.
Only Sangram is not able to see the screen now, or Ramesh, how about you? Ramesh, Roshan.
I'm joining through laptop. Let me see. But for mobile, I tried multiple times. I'm not able to join. Sorry, I'm not able to see screen.
Okay. Now you can see at least, right? Now you can see the screen, right? Sangram, could you rejoin and see once?
Yeah,
No,
sure,
I'm
sure.
not. I'm
Just give me a
still
minute.
seeing. Can you reshare, Kumar?
Yeah, Kumar, can you reshare the screen?
Can you reshare the screen?
Mhm.
Yeah, now I am able to see the risk management slide.
Yeah, I mean, I tried both my dual screens. Both the cases I am able to, at least I can see myself like I'm being
Yes, yes,
presented.
yes. Okay, let's do one thing. Kumar, you can continue. Those who are not able to see the screen, I'll share the recording to them. Okay.
Mhm.
Before next session, we'll sort all those things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, Kumar. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Naveen.
Go.
Okay. Hope you all can see my screen with SAP. Okay. So as I mentioned, we are going to use two systems for the demo. The system one is P23, which is our feeder system. In a nutshell, this is our S4 HANA system. If you ask me the version of this, I can quickly tell you what is installed.
Yeah.
It is
We
S4
can
HANA.
start. Okay. We can start.
Yeah. So S4 HANA 2023 version we are using, and we also using S4 E4H 2023. Okay. So as I mentioned, we're gonna cover a basic compliance quick demo to make sure that you understand how the system is working. Okay. So I have a simple example which I have created just a couple of minutes back. Just want to show you. So this is my sales order. I'm just trying to create an example wherein I have just feeded my customer, what is my product, and how much quantity I really wanted to have it, and I'm trying to sell this. So this is what your front desk person or a telecaller or whoever is taking the order, they will look at this screen and they will say, okay, my sales order is blocked. Okay. And if you look at my screen right here, you have a pop-up, and I see a multiple customer, multiple project. They say, okay, I'm okay to have this, but there is some customers are we are creating through EDI, okay, and I don't want this to happen for certain EDI orders, okay, because if I have this pop-up, I need to have additional functionality to close that pop-up and say EDI order because I'm doing a replication at backend, but just exclude that system. SIP is giving a privilege to exclude. Okay, I don't want a pop-up, I can remove it, but the sales order will get blocked and will not be able to proceed further. And if you look at my screen here, right, I see my sales order number 6704, and I see my overall order says that partially blocked. What does it mean? And I have a line number 10, and it says that line number 10 embargo is checked and released. That means that whichever country I'm doing the business, it has nothing to have any restriction from my source. And when I'm doing a sanction screening, says block, that means that sanctions party list screening, which is SPL we call as a short term. SPL is blocked. That means that whoever customer I am doing a business system saying no, this person is not really authorized person or it has a embargo. Okay. And if you ask me, Kumar, how the system will know this, okay, this particular customer is blocked. For that, all the companies will procure a data files from the data providers. Some of the data provider in the market, if you ask me, Discards is one of the mostly used data provider for SPL files. And if you ask, there's multiple MNB, Mendelwenger, and Dow Jones. There's a lot many service provider, but I think mostly used data provider is Discards. Okay, so what they do is they will go to each country, they keep working with all the countries, organizations, and they keep collecting the post authorized or unauthorized persons, like other unauthorized person address details and all, and they will keep a file, prepare a file and send it to us. That file we will feed in our SAP GTS system. As soon the system detect that person and identify this name, address, and if it is matching with certain percentage, system, okay, if the matching is met the criteria or threshold, then system, if the threshold is lesser, then system will ignore, and if the threshold is more, I mean match percent is more, then system will immediately block the particular transaction. So we will not be able to do it. And if you look at a third block, you say it's license, okay, and this is for legal control. What does it mean? if I'm trying to do a business with that particular sales order and I don't have a license to do it. So this is how my sales order is blocked. So I have created my sales order, and I don't know, and some telecaller or salesperson is created. I am from the logistics department. I don't know. I got a request from my my boss saying that can you please proceed this sales to further. The customer wanted to deliver, and if you try to create a delivery from this particular sales order, he will immediately get a pop. Even the telecaller did not inform to the respective person, we will still not be able to make any transaction further to do a business. Even if certain orders, even there is a block, we don't want to stop at delivery creation. Means sales order was created, delivery. I mean, if you are not familiar with SD process, I will quickly walk through sales orders where the customers will tell what quantity they want, what are the information, what is the payment, and what is the incoterms and all. Then this will get converted into the delivery. Why do you have to one more transaction to be created in order to do all those pick pack operations or any changes? For example, why we need to have a separate transaction? We can do directly in sales. So the reason why SAP is created this means, point one, whatever order I have requested, I may not able to deliver on the say one day. Maybe I request 1,000 quantity at one go, but I may only deliver 10 at now. Our customer wanted one sales order with multiple schedules. Okay, I want this week 10, next week 10. So that all not possible within one single transaction. So SAP introduced the delivery or ship. If you work for GTM, we call delivery order. Okay, so all those orders will deliveries gets created, and the deliveries will be pick packed and PC'd and goods issued to the customer. So that's how the delivery process will end. And once the delivery is done, we'll also go and invoice it. This is at least high level sales process. Okay, but now I have created a sales order, but due to my compliance issue, the system is blocked it. Okay, this is what you does not really do in our daily operation. If you are working on a global trade, this will be done by either sales team or your procurement team or a purchase team or whatever, okay, who works in our feeder system. But as a GTS consultant or as a business person, you need to able to see what happened really. It just say that you don't have legal control to license, you don't have you have a block. So let's go and look at the GTS side. What happened to this particular transaction? My transaction number is 6704 is my sales reference. Okay, and we're gonna talk about all, and you may get a doubt why I'm using a GI. Okay, so this is one of my, I don't say it's a bad habit, but I've been habituated a couple of years with using GUI. However, if you're part of this batch, we also gonna talk both GUI and Fury. Okay, and I'm gonna talk how tips and tricks, like certain transactions are not available in Fury as a Fury app, how you can able to navigate them. All those things will be discussed. Okay, and however, I'm gonna show you quickly first if I have any issue with my transaction. Okay, let me go to legal control export and let me see if my what is the number 6704. I can just give my sales order number and see what are the blocks. I can able to quickly see, okay, this is the document number got created in my GTS. If you look at 6704 is the document number which came from my feeder system. In our case, it says for our in GTS system, the system immediately replicated a similar data. Whatever data GTS wanted to perform the operation, the system created the document. And this is the document is reference for all your compliance checks. Okay. And if I look at my my SPL screening status is red, mean this is a blocked, and embargo screening status is green. That means that it's screened and released, and the legal control has a block. Okay, and what I can do if I'm a authorized person, I want to check what happened to in detail. Okay, I can see the log and I can quickly navigate my checks. Okay, this is SPL check, legal control check, and the particular partner is in boycott list. Hence, my sales transaction is blocked. However, I know this particular customer is blocked as per the data providers list of matching, but really I know this person is not because of name match or address matching. This person also come into the block. So I want to release them. I can also do that. Okay, but if you want to release certain transaction, you need to use a different transaction to do that. Okay, if you are using old GI way, but if you're going to Fury way, let me also quickly launch Fury to make sure. UI2. So this is a transaction. In order to launch your Fiori launchpad. So we will also gonna talk about all those while we are talking, while we are going with the demo. It is as I'm using the first time, so system is little time taking part. But so this is how the Fiori launchpad, and I can simply use a certain apps. Okay, so I can simply go to my main transaction app. So here I can simply provide my transaction number, and I can also see the same. So what is the advantage with E4H is, if you ask me, that this is one advantage. You don't need to launch, or you don't need to remember all the key codes or transaction to check which one is blocked and all. It is very easy, and you can also install this Fiori in a smart applications also, wherein you don't need to have a GUI application and all. It can even work in your smartphone if you are within the network. Okay, so that means that I just want to check, I mean, system will quickly show you how many transactions are blocked for company code 1710, how many transactions are blocked, how many company code 1010, how many are blocked, for others how many are blocked. Okay, and the system will give you, I mean, SAP is improvise this a lot, and it also show you each legal regulation. I'm not going to talk about what is the legal regulation at this point in time, but for each legal regulation, how many transactions are blocked, and the transactions, how many sales orders are blocked, how many purchase orders are blocked, how many outbound deliveries are blocked. I can able to see all those. And even if I want to check a certain sales transaction, right, which we just checking 6704, system also display here what happened to my transaction. So I could see two block lines. One is with AWS and one with SPL US. SPL US is SPL legal regulation block, and AWS is for legal control block. Okay, if I go here, I can quickly check, go inside and try to see what happened to my transaction. And if I want to, the system will quickly show us what happened. Okay, this particular product is blocked because of this particular customer I'm doing with is blocked customer. So what I can do, I can go back and I can release this particular customer. Okay, I can also run, I can release this block. I know because this is not a real block, the system will propose why you are releasing it. So you can select, okay, this is a false positive. Okay, it was or false negative, or whatever reason you realize, you can select, and you can provide saying that this customer in sanctioned. Okay, so you can maintain all those, and you can release the transaction from the SPL block. So what is the advantage, right? As an end customer, or your analyst from your GTS team or compliance team, but you, based on certain information, you have released it. But at the audit point of view, if you want to analyze, I can go back and see all the audit logs. Okay, are your manager in monthly, how you are really doing your releases, and why these many blocks are coming? Do you need to perform any, as a consultant, you can reduce unnecessary blocks? He will analyze all those, and maybe he will take some necessary actions. So for that purpose, we will always recommend to maintain those logs. Our audit purpose, if tomorrow some customer has come, some countries, some customs authority came, and they would ask like, why you want to release this particular customer, this is a sanctioned customer, then you can give, maybe if you have a ruling from your country, okay, as this particular customer is critical and is a medical emergency, that's why you can keep all those, and you can able to open those logs, and you can tell, okay, this is one purpose we have did the business with this particular customer, even he is in sanctioned list. Okay, so that's how we will able to use. And if you look at now, as soon as my one document is cleared, and I see only one block, which is a legal control block. What does it mean? The system is looking for a license. This particular license, the system, this particular product, okay, FG111 is missing the license. I should be able to create a license. Okay, and then once I create a license, I can able to generate. I can do multiple ways this license creation, and I will simply go here and check the log. Okay, and the log will show me what happened. Now earlier, if you remember, right, we were, and you can also see here, right, release sanction party list by the user GTS user 2 on this date. If you want to see the more details, you can go in the log. And if you go inside, and this is the log for AWE, and the system is trying to say why this particular entry is locked. And okay, and system is saying that the value is not sufficient. It has a license. System is detected a license. However, it required this much depreciation. Means this particular license is value based license. What does it mean? Whenever you're doing a business with any country, you go to your customs authority, or if you are working in Germany, you will go to BOFA. If you are working for certain country, you go to the respective authority, local country authorities, right? And that country authority either will give, okay, I'm giving a permission to business for 100 units, or they will give a permission to use 1000 euros, something like that. So as soon as you reach that threshold, system will immediately block it. That is a good control, right? If you don't have that control, you don't know how many transactions you have performed. So this will be one of the advantage. So in this case, the system is expecting 10,000 euro value sale. You're doing it, but you don't have a license. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a one single license, because I went to my customs authority, went with this particular sales order. I'm doing a business with this particular sales order, and I I paid whatever amount I need to pay for them and all. So then I'm able to do a business with them. So as soon as I got the um, company authorities, I maintain those. I mean, whatever. This is just testing I maintain, but maybe Buffer gave Buffer 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Like just this is a number with some certain amount of value. Okay. Again, they gave 10,000 euro. Or I got it with 1 lakh euro, or I got it with which country I can do a business with, which partner I can do a business with. I mean, this particular license we call individual licenses. What does it mean? We are doing a business individual. Like I have a license only to sell this particular product where I have ECCN, and to only certain country, only certain partner, and I need to take permission for each order. So as soon as I create a new order, even I have a license, even I have a process, I cannot do business. I need to go to every time to my customs authority to get a permission. And if I don't want, I mean, this is one type. Okay, some other types, I don't want to go to customs authority for each sales order, but I need to go for if I'm using another product. Okay, so we all talk about how that can be built in your system. Okay, this is how I have maintained the license now. And let's see if I activate it. Okay, let me not activate it. Let's save it. And if I go back to my block here, I'm just switching back to my GTS feed side, GUI side, to display both the side how it displays, and block, and I select sales order number, and select, and I'm trying to rescreen because I created a license. Okay, sorry, I'm editing something. Okay, so I'm trying to refresh. So as I see, I have maintained the license, but the system is still not cleared. The reason is the license is we have just created, but we didn't activate it. Okay, let's go to license management and maintain that license. Okay, maintain legal control, and this is my license. Change, and let's activate this. Okay, and as soon as I activate, and I'm going back to my screening, and I do a refresh. So as soon as I refresh, do you see all my sales orders are released and without any legal block. So, and now if you go back to the block transaction, I will not be able to see it. Okay, means I cannot be able to see. But if you want to see what happened to the transaction, you should be able to go to display transaction. You should be able to see the particular price, should be able to see all the information. And if you are SD person, why SAP is not using the same number, it is creating one more number, because SAP does not really need to have all the information which is available in sales center. Whatever is required for GTS custom complaint process will only create respectively. For example, I need material product, quantity, date, weight, who is the partners, what is the value, and if any additional information. The same way with item, what is my product, what is units, what is my Incoterms, what is the valuation, all those values we will gonna see it here. And I can also see here what is my license is appended for this particular transaction to complete. Okay, and I can also see geography, what does it mean, from where my sales transaction is going and where it is shipping to. So all those will be validated here. And if I go back to my Fiori Launchpad, and if I go back and if I look at a normal what's my Fiori, I think Fiori, let me open it again. So if I go here, now if I go to block display transaction, if I try to check for the same transaction, I should not be able to see it because the transaction is not created. So I should not be able to see it. So if I don't, I mean, if I'm a analyst and my job is to analyze all my sales transactions and clear the blocks, so I will come to here and I will just select what is my region, which region I'm working for. Okay, and those region product I will select. Okay, this is my region, and if I will select my region and just click say go. So as soon as I will look forward with sales transaction, I will not really worry about what is my purchase. Okay, I can control that and I can just select sales orders. So this is how the regular customer business will work. And if I don't really worry about other legal control, other operations like SPL, embargo, legal control, right? I will only look for only SPL. Okay, SPL. So I will only select SPL US and I can only select, okay, what is my work for today? Okay, so I can just select that and I can, this one my sales order is pending for SPL screen. So this is how they can able to monitor their daily operations. And even if they want to check all the transaction, here also Fiori also, you will have a detailed display document for complaints management. You can able to see all the transactions similarly what you've seen in the GUI side. So this is all about one single transactional flow, which we talked about it. And if you want to see, this is only we talked about compliance part. When it comes to custom, we also have a lot many what kind of a compliance export process, like what are the countries we are doing export from, export to. I mean, where we are from. For example, I'm gonna talk about more from US exporting to countries and Germany exporting to other countries. We also talked about importing to one country to another country. We're gonna not talk all combination, but we'll pick some certain combination like one country to another country, and we're gonna talk about it. I just want to give you a disclaimer that as it is a training system, we don't have a communication with customs. SAP way we use simulation options to complete our export process, import process, anything which needed a customs operations. Okay, so this is my customs declaration where I am submitting a customs declaration with all the details, whatever we want to submit to my to customer. Right? I'm maybe this example is from yeah, US. I'm sending to Germany. Okay, so this is a product I'm shipping from, and how much logical cost is I'm shipping with worth of €1,000, and what are the documents we gonna submit to my customs authority. All those information will be available here, and this is how the communication strategy works. This M040 will be submitted to my customs authority, and once customs authority sign off, I will print a shipper export declaration form and I will submit it to my the truck driver that okay, this is my authorization and this is the approved permission from my customs authority to export this particular goods. The same way we also going to discuss about imports, how you do import, how you do default data, incompleteness procedure, document flow, all those, like whatever is relevant for export, import process. We are also going to talk about transit procedures. We're going to talk about few special custom procedure like bonded warehouse, IPR, OPR, PUCs, all those things. Also, we're going to talk at high level, but we will try to see based on the batch requirement. We're going to create the system and develop and give the system to the participants. So as I'm almost 2 minutes, but I will just take additional 5 minutes. Next 7-8 minutes, we can talk any questions from the audience. I think next 7 minutes, if you have any questions, feel free to raise and we can discuss, and maybe you can discuss internally and you can connect with the team for the next batch details if you are interested in being part of this.
Hey, hi Kumar. Roshan this side. So I just wanted to know, if this session is going to be in detail, right? Because as a new to GTS, we are not aware about what is SPL, what is embargo. So
Yeah.
all those things are getting covered, correct?
Yeah. So I think if I mentioned initially, right, we generally target in a way that the person does not even have a basic idea of SAP. So that's how we start. But as I mentioned, we will not be able to go in deep of S4, like which is a feeder, okay? But we'll try to keep as much as information needed if you want to work for a SAP GTS. Yes, we will touch base how the system from the day one, how you should be able to have access, how you need to be able to create a transaction, what is the transaction, what is a T code, what is a theory, how do you see that, what does it mean, what means product, what means customs, what is a customs authority, what is FTA, what is a bonded. So all those will be talked in detail, Roshan, for sure. I can promise that. And second thing to answer, that we will go as much as detail possible for the compliance, custom, and trade preference modules. As I mentioned, limitation, we will not be able to submit this transaction to customs authority, but that is not possible in the training. But we will try to, there is an option to simulate. We will try to do a simulation at backend, and we will try to complete our process to understand how it works.
Okay, and also in your demo session, you mentioned feeder in few lines. So what is this feeder means?
Feeder means the data where, see, as I think this is, I'm not sure you missed it. So generally GTS, I don't want to call that word, but I think it's a GTS is a slave system. That means that GTS work for multiple systems. Like if it's a S4 HANA system, it's an Oracle system, it's a micro dynamic system, any system, whatever data being created in those systems, those data will be transferred to GTS to check, okay, am I compliant, am I relevant to do a business with that particular country, am I am I having a proper partners in my sales order to do a business, am I have a proper license. All those things will be checked by GTS system and send the results back. If the particular transaction is not fully approved, the system also send back saying that no, it is blocked, you will not be able to proceed further. With that, you will have a compliance control. And if I want to do a business to export or import, SAP GTS will bring the data to S4 system to GTS or Oracle system. So those all system we call a feeder because they're feeding the data to GTS system. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I have a question. If it's done with,
Yeah.
okay, so I have three questions. First one is, so are we, for somebody who is just say new to the GTS and doesn't understand a word of, are we going to, is the training going to be both theoretical and practical? Theoretical in terms of understanding the compliance processes, embargo, and the rest of it. Then the practical part is actually having access to the SAP sites, doing cases like releasing imports or arrival and deportation, or as you mentioned, that is one. By the time we are done with the training, what should we be expecting? As in, how ready do you think we would be by the time you were done with the training, and and all of that for like maybe being job ready or being certified, or how ready do you think you'll be? And the last question is it was I really want to understand why GTS is just like is like a niche, it's not like a model, and what is the difference? Why is it like a niche? Because I know from what you explained, you can use GTS for GTS SD. They work in FICOS and GRC and all of that. So why is it just different, and why is it such a niche that is not like a standalone, or it's a standalone system? Just what is the difference, and why is it so? Because it's difficult. Not everybody is into the GTS, and I hope it's not an extinct, program, so to say.
I think it's a good valid question. To start with your first question, yes, we are gonna first. I mean, it's like more on the theoretical. I will not more talk on the theory because that will not really go and sit on your mind. So I will go with the system, and I will keep talking about what is behind that scenes, how this will be useful if you are implementing a GTS. Either you are a customer, or you are a consultant, or you are a business person, or you are like you're trying to understand a GTS. So we're gonna talk more on the system. That means that you will get maybe in every week you will have like, okay, this is a what expectation from you, that you should create your data, you should be able to practice yourself and come back to more questions. That means that you will have a 100% hands-on the system. And we also gonna talk about how this is really influencing your business. So if you're working as a consultant, you need to think differently, and if you're working as a business person, it's you need to work differently, because a business person to always trying to understand why I need to release this transaction. But if it's a consultant, he need to understand what are the rules I need to set if you want to release. Okay, if I want to release, what is the false positive, false negative, or company rule, or certain rules. That is all you need to look. So I'm going to talk about both the directions, but more on a consulting point of view. Try to touch as much as possible on the business sense. That is one. Second thing which you asked about on the why we have a niche skill, or it's a different system altogether. As I mentioned, GTS with GTS 11, which is a little older version, if you ask me, that is a purely standalone system. Means you need to deploy a separate system for GTS, and all the system will connect it to GTS and start working on it. But wherein now with E4H, SAP is even allowing to implement one client for SAP GTS, another client for HANA. Okay, this is a parallel deployment we call, but it still required a separation from your normal systems like SDEM, EWM, TM. Those all can stay in one, and GTS has to stay in separate. The one major reason is GTS can support multiple other feeder systems. You have one S4 HANA system, you have another S4 HANA system, and you have my divestiture another country or other customer to your company, or you acquired some company, so they have separate system. You no need to uh, create a new system, you simply connect that system to GTS. So GTS can work independently for multiple other system, not one single system. That is one reason. The second system, as it runs its own performance activities, so we don't want to impact whatever issues with the GTS, we don't want to impact to the other fader system. So that is one reason SAP is always recommended to go with the individual system. Means S4 HANA is separate box, GTS is a separate box. Maybe both sits on the same platform or same database, but both should work separately. However, SAP is also allowing to deploy both in one single system. That means that if you want to access Fiori application, you can also access sales order creation. You can also access manage compliance block document. Means transaction from SAP, S4 HANA, transaction from GTS. Both can be accessed in one single Fiori. But if you deploy it separately, you will have two different links to access both operations. And I think that's all what I hope I answered 80% of your question. But if any question, feel free to
I have,
let. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
Sangram. I have one question. So we are training for GTS E4H 2023 or 2025?
2.3. 2.5
23.
is still a very brand new version, and I mean I try to touch base what are the basic differences between both of them. but I think we are gonna have a training on 23rd.
Okay, maybe 2023 some bugs they are clear in 2025, I think.
Yeah. Functionality wise, I think they are bringing few additional Fury applications. Like I don't want to talk all those. Like SAP is bringing a brand new Fury applications, or they're simply converting T code to Fury application. If you are a SAP person who's already working in Fury, you know that means there's a brand new Fury application. That means that you will not have an equivalent transaction in SAP, okay, in GUI side. But there is some transaction is exact copy. They are available in a Fury. So that's only the difference. Okay.
Okay, but any in 2025 they are using standalone or still they are using the feeder system?
So no, both are available. Even 23 also we have both options available. You can deploy in standalone, but what SAP is always recommending for business users, use Fairy. Don't use GUI. So 80% of transaction will be blocked. As an IT consultant, we know how to unblock and we use it, but SAP is recommending to use Fairy. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna talk both. Whichever is required in your projects, you can utilize it. And I'm going to talk about why GUI is sometimes advantage, Fury is not. If you have an issue with the debug, if you want to debug something for the technical person, that is easy if you have available in GUI. But it's a Fury, it is more complicated because OData services, you need to deploy on the web services. All those, it's a little complicated than GUI. So that's one reason. And the other reason I used to from almost 10 years with more time on GA. So I prefer to go to GTA, but I'm also gonna touch base on Fury wherever you can utilize both. So you will understand both, whichever is comfortable, you can utilize it and based on your project needs.
But in future, maybe they are cost reducing. That's why they are merging the GTS, not needed to the separate box. They are
We'll
including
call
in this.
TSA. We call TSA like not just reduce cost, right? If you have two different servers, you need to maintain the servers. You need to maintain that. I mean, you need to pay huge amount of money to those server maintenance. If you have a two different systems, the TSA will be increased. However, right, you also have a risk. For example, you are trying to use your one GTS system with multiple feeder system. You have one E4H, you have ECC system, you have some other system. Okay, due to some issue, your S4 HANA or your S4 system is down. So what will happen? Your GTS also will get down, and other systems, even they are running up and running, they will not be able to do any business because that is they have a dependency with your GTS which is already down. So I mean, it's like we can't say this straight line. Okay, go for standalone GTS, go for separation GTS. I would see so far if the customers are very huge business, they have a global presence, they always recommending to say separate. If they have a very small scale business, they don't have multiple systems coming in their way anytime next couple of years, then we will always recommending to go parallel development. So they can reduce their dependency, cost, all those maintenance and all.
Okay, okay. Okay, in our training, you are covering which type of means which
Standard.
sub-module transaction code is absolute, that kind of list you are providing. Means previously
All
GTS
the
11
transactions is absolute. All the transactions are absolute. If you ask me, 80% of transactions SAP is blocked. Okay, I'm gonna show you how you unblock. And this unblocking we always doing so far it multiple implementation what I'm using till quality system. Production we will never unblock. We'll always recommending to use a Fury application.
Sure, yeah. Correct. Okay.
So that's why I'm saying I'm gonna talk both. So whatever, if you're part of any project, they may start using GUI. They might not even implementing a Fury at this point in time, but at the production time they might come back. So you need to know both.
Okay. Thank you.
And for example, if you are using a trade preference, you don't have any other option. You need to use Fury only. Okay. So 80% of transaction trade preference, they are completely redesigned. So you cannot use GI anymore. Even you cannot unblock them also. They completely locked it because the system will create inconsistency if you start using GUI in such cases. I'm going to talk about all those. Okay. I mean, if you part of
Yeah, sure.
And also
Uh,
one last question.
mhm.
After this course, what do you think whether we can directly do the configuration if any project got assigned in future, or whether we will be ready for GTS module, or support will required for us? What do you think?
I'm not sure your name. I forgot. I couldn't hear your name. But just to answer your question, if I'm you, okay, I'm you at your place, I would say I can start working my configuration and I can start taking my responsibility of a GTS consultant. But 100% underlying statement is that while you are going a batch, I will definitely tell you only 2% of training I can able to provide. Rest 98% is up to you, right? For example, I'm going to talk about how the configuration works, where you need to utilize this, where what kind of issues you will anticipate in this area, whatever it's coming on my mind. Okay, it's not like I cannot be able to 100%. Okay, these only possible issues comes in. However, right, while you are implementing, your fader system has a different issues, or some others created issues, so those are all not possible to uh, understand by me, or I can assume and I can tell. So the only 2% which is planned, and 98% is up to you guys. How you practice yourself, how you come back to training. Okay, Kumar, I practice this, and this is what I understand. This is the outcome it's coming out, and can you help me? This piece I was not really able to follow. Then only you will learn it. How much I spent on the system to teach you, you need to spend 8 times more on the system while you're training. After maybe how many days you will get the training system, and we will also support, but that period you will be only training. Any questions you will post, I will try to respond as soon as possible, but until the training period, you will have a full luxury to practice yourself and come back to me. Not really outside questions, but whatever questions you anticipating here, or whatever outside questions also will try to answer, but I think it's more on the system, whatever you are really experienced. But if you don't practice, if you simply ask a question somebody asked, you will never be able to learn it. It is your responsibility to practice and come back to me with a more question, then you will be able to understand, and you can jump start as soon as this training complete. You can deploy your project. How much you deploy, that's up to how much you really practice yourself and ask questions and explore. And even after that, right, every day, as I mentioned, SAP also coming with every release, every service pack, the new things, so you need to keep learning. That's what I do. I mean, even after working these many years, and I'm still working, I keep reading, I keep practicing. Even being certain level, I no need to even touch my system because I will not even get time. But I spend some time over the weekends, try to see what's going in the system. That gives me a confidence. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, because I see more senior experienced people along with me. So it's not just that I know you all busy with your works, you are want to explore or gain knowledge, but if you want to do that, you need to practice yourself a lot and come back to the next sessions with more questions. That's how you will learn, and I can also teach you more. If somebody teach you that, okay, after this training you will be master, then don't believe that statement. I can't say that, because that's up to how much you really learned, because we deliver the training 100% with the ease. Like even you're a normal SAP consultant, or you're never know what is SAP also. We will try to balance both and try to teach as low as possible and as speed as possible. But it's up to you how you are able to learn the knowledge, explore, come back with more questions. Hope that answers. I'm not sure who I see everybody is at attendee as a
Yes,
name.
yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
I think I took 2 more minutes, which I supposed to not. But Naveen, if anything, or Naveen or anyone from our team or training team, anything to add?
Yeah, nothing. That's fine, Kumar. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
So schedule will update you by in the WhatsApp. Okay. Mostly we'll follow the same timings in the weekend. Okay. And I'll share you all the details, enrollment details in the WhatsApp. Okay, we'll try to start from tomorrow itself. Is it okay, Kumar?
Yeah.
Okay. Any queries from Sangram, Ramesh, Gomal?
No, no.
Okay, fine. Taransi, from your end, any queries?
For now, no. If I have any other questions, I can always reach out to
Sure.
you. Yeah.
Fine then. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll try to start from tomorrow or next Saturday. Okay, we'll update you via WhatsApp. Okay. Okay then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kumar.
Have a
Thanks for
good
taking
rest
the
of
call.
your weekend and talk to you guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Discussion topics are
This
more learning
conference will
topics.
now be
Yeah,
recorded.
sorry, thanks. So more discussion point or more detailed discussion can go. I mean, we can jump on that. If not, what will happen? The discussion, whatever we seen with the previous batches, previous experiences, we will try to incorporate all those experiences and the expectation from the batch. But it always a limited that you need to be make sure spend some time after this each session, come back with the more questions or kind of I want to be an interactive session overall. So that will help us to you to learn because everyone learning curve may not be same as what we anticipate. Okay, some people will very quick to learn, and if we give a simple concept, they will be able to understand and take it forward. But some people might require more than one time to explain the same concept. So we cannot generalize whole topic, or we can't prepare in a way with to more than one time. But if some things are really needed, the things are not clear based on the previous experiences or previous exercises, I want you to come back with that questions. Not that, okay, Kumar, can you please repeat the whole module, whatever we just discussed. No, it may not be that possible. But what I want you to always come back to me saying that, okay, I understand this. This is the issue. This is the my understanding. Now, can you help me like how to move forward from there so that I can able to help you to navigate? And that why I'm saying all this is any trainer, if any training batch, any batch, if somebody trainer said that after this batch you will be master in this module, I think that is a not a true statement for me. Okay, because that depends upon how much you really show interest showing towards the training and how much you are really practicing and you are coming back with more questions. These are the three major important parameters which determine whether you are upgraded your skill with a GTS or you just completed the batch. Okay, I want to give this as a day one because I want you also help me to come back with the more questions. That's how we can navigate more detailed discussion. And as why I ask the experiences, that will also and expectation that will also give me opportunity to prepare myself while I'm giving any training to you. What kind of a information should be passed to this, or what information might not really need it. Okay, so I will try to keep in mind with all your experiences and expectation, and try to run the whole the training program. Okay, but as I mentioned, I want you guys to make sure practice on a day in day out and come back with the next sessions. Maybe we are planning at this point in time with a weekend, so we will have today is a plan for 1 hour, tomorrow is 1 hour based on the training plan. But next week onwards, we are want to have at least 2.5 hours minimum. If not, we will not be able to cover anything. In a 1 hour time, maybe we'll kickstart something, but we will not be able to finish the topic. So we need at least 2 hours minimum on any day. I want to have 2 hours in Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday, unless until any emergency, the call will not be skipped. But if there is something on all of a sudden, I will keep notifying you as soon as possible. But this is the plan. So I'm trying to connect the VPN. Just allow me a second. But meanwhile, I'm trying to explain why uh, uh, we need SAP GTS. And also, I will try to keep in mind that try to cover what kind of a enhancement will come, what kind of a development work would generally expected from the customers, and what kind of a interview questions will come in that particular what you call that particular area what we are talking about. Okay, so these three areas I will try to keep it in mind while we are discussing. Is it clear so far? Rishabh, Mani, Debashish.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
was there a
So
question?
no, I'm asking that are you guys
No,
prepared
Kumar, we
for
are
that
good.
kind of a training program? Because whatever we are discussing, it's not sufficient enough if you want to upskill your training. Okay, after this training program, you need to spend at least a couple of hours in order to make sure you well versed with all the GTS knowledge.
Yes, Kumar. I think practice sessions will be more important. Like whatever you will be telling, if we do not practice, then
Mm.
like it will, we will be less what you say, like we'll be less proficient. And in order to learn it quickly, we have to practice a lot. That's what you are mentioning.
Correct.
And
I
to
mean that also not just practice, right? You will also will have your own type of questions, own type of discussions. Okay. If not, what will happen? It is like one way direction.
Yeah, correct. So I want you to make sure like whatever market is asking currently with respect
Mhm.
to GTS, we don't know. So you will be the best coach and guide for us to tell us so that we can get opportunity in GTS area.
Sure. Yeah, that's clear. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I will try to make sure keep all those pointers in my all my discussion. But I think as I mentioned, we also need a strong support from you. Okay, before we move forward.
Yeah, it should
Just
be
you know,
relevant and
stick.
market specifics
Yeah.
as of date, like what market is asking for. If you want to
Sure.
get
Sure.
a
Yeah.
GTS project, whatever they are asking, so we want you to train us in that direction only.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I will make sure we will try to cover in that sense. Okay. So I think my system, I think it's giving some heck. But anyways, I think today I may not able to share my screen for a reason, but I will make sure by tomorrow we'll have that presentation on screen and try to discuss more detail. So today what I'm trying to tell. Okay. So what you need to know when you are working as a GTS consultant or a GTS program manager from the customer side, or you're a GTS person from the IT side, what kind of a things you need to keep it in mind. So first thing is GTS is being evolved as like your ECC, right? You have ECC R2, R3, R6, okay, and then they came back with S4. Okay, S4 also they have started 2015, 16, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24. They keep evolving. What does it mean when the SAP upgraded their uh, technology systems are the tool, right? The same time GTS also started work. That means it may not be exactly the same as ACC, but initially we started with a foreign trade. Okay, so foreign trade basically what used to do, we used to able to perform kind of a intrastat requirement where we need to submit all our arrivals and departures in European region to customer in European Union. So that was one of the requirement when you are doing any intra EU transaction. That means that any transaction between any two European Union country, you need to report that to your European Union. That was one of the key fundamental requirement. And as you all know, SAP is a German product. So they first prioritize their own local requirements. So that is one reason they started with that. Then slowly, they also incorporated bits and pieces of compliance requirements, maybe some kind of a classification or basic things. Then SAP think that okay, whatever tool we are developing is not really dependent on a ECC like another module like SD, FI, all those. No, it may not be the same module because it is not independent module. The reason behind the SAP or a global trade is required a separate system. The reason behind why we SAP think that way is, if you look at 1980s period, the number of transactions internationally are very minimal. Think that maybe we all born long, I mean, we seen 1980s, 1990s, or 2000 era, right? So at the time, if you want to import a good by yourself from maybe some China or some Japan or any other country, it's a very tedious process. You need to have a proper broker, you need to have a proper importer, all those right forwarders and
Excuse
all.
me, are you
It's
sharing any screen? But
no,
just
not it, not for today.
okay.
Sorry for that, but yeah,
Okay.
that's why I'm trying to give what you need to know if you are being a consultant in the GTS market. So tomorrow we will talk about inside jump start on the SD. What are the prerequisites you need to know, because you all are SD consultants? So I will quickly walk through what are the prerequisites from the That's the plan for tomorrow. I make sure we will have all those details by tomorrow's call, and some other dependent module like EWM, TM, FI, and other modules also. That is a plan for tomorrow, and we will start with GTS, basic understanding of the GTS. That is for tomorrow. Today what I'm going to discuss is like, what is a GTS, where are we, what kind of a technology we are using it, how it has evolved. So I'm trying to explain why do you need all this, Kumar, if you ask me. The reason behind, if you don't know the basics, right, when you are speaking with a customer, you sometimes you don't need, you may not have vast topics to discuss with customer, but you need to what to say, uh, present yourself like you are a master, you know GTS in and out. So you should be able to talk like what happened, how that situations occurred, why SAP is really build all these capabilities, why, how it is evolved. So that gives some of the customers like more confidence, and okay, this person who is working for me as well versed with the GTS knowledge. So if that confidence built on you, so automatically next day if you say something, customer will try to accept as much as possible. Okay, so that's why you need to know the basics. Where are we in the GTS market? How it has evolved? What kind of a technology? What kind of external systems are capable to do your GTS operational? So all those activity I'm gonna talk about. That's why I don't have any presentation, but make sure from tomorrow you will have a presentation. Just allow me for today. So, okay, let's go back to the discussion. We have initially international foreign trade. So foreign trade basically do a basic compliance requirement. But if you look at that, years are passing, the number of transaction internationally is not rapid. It's like growth is exponential. It's very, very huge number of transactions. If you want your product from somewhere, you can simply open an app. Okay, some Chinese app and some South Korean app, you can simply place an order, they will deliver the product maybe certain amount of days. So the process is so simpler now. Within that, you also increase the number of transactions, number of challenges, risks, fraud, all these also increased. So what companies or countries were thinking, okay, when the things are going exponentially, we also need to have some guardrails. If you don't have a proper restrictions, rules, things go wrong. What can be go wrong? For example, anybody can purchase a chemical component which I can make a bomb. Think that way. I mean, just hypothetical example, right? Anybody can purchase a product from somewhere in maybe some other North Korea or somewhere you want to purchase some missile. You can also simply place an order because that is now simple. And government may not be really able to scrutinize all these transactions because of number of volumes. So companies itself, when you are doing these things from your company, if you are placing a product, you you need to make sure you have authorized person to purchase that product. Are you authorized to sell that particular product? Is it a right country you are purchasing from? Is it a valid? So when you are doing international transaction, you are allowed to do that. If you don't know all this, what will happen? You purchase the product, you paid the amount because the seller will not give you, at least you need to pay the money. While it is coming to your customs, they will block it. So your money is lost, your purpose is lost, your entire operation will be collapsed. So you need to make sure everything is in place. That's where SAP or global trade operation managers from the each company decided that we as companies our countries or increase the number of guardrails or number of rules and restrictions while you are importing any product, while you are exporting any product, while you are doing any say, business operation with any country, any other person. So you need to follow all the rules and regulations. Okay, so that will not be possible by doing a manual work. Maybe your company is only exporting one shipment per day. You can simply check all those activity manually and you can file it to your customs authority. Some customs authority even not even accept manual. You need to do a interface. Okay, so that cannot be possible with SAP or any other solutions. What is available? I mean SAP with S4 HANA or anything. So you need a separate system which connects to this kind of expert systems, or you need to go to your brokers. Okay, so this is a current situation, and where why SAP came back an idea like why can't we build a separate system in order to manage all the complaint requirement. They have started initially very basic, but they are exponential. I mean GTS, if you are worked on ECC6, like if you feel that is a very good system, almost ruled 10 plus years, the same way GTS 11 also is a similar environment in SAP GTS point of view, GTS 11. But GTS has a multiple versions. GTS started with 7, 8, 8.1, 10, 10.1, 11. 11 was like almost 8 to 9 years. No, I mean, it's like worked like really good. No, not challenges, much performance issue. But as soon as SAP decided to change their way of memory, backend memories, like instead of using IBM servers, they itself acquired servers and they become like a not product based company, service based company. They are also offering some cloud services and all. So they want to switch the entire SAP way of loading the data instead of external system. They want to offer their own system. So then they started with S4 HANA concept in SAP side. In the same way, GTS side, they have started E4H. Okay. And wherein SAP S4 side, we have seen S4, SAP side is 2015, but after 6 years, 2021, SAP released first GTS version of E4H, extended um, GTS S4 HANA. I mean, like S4 HANA E4H. Okay, so this is the GTS system we call. Some people call E4H or GTS new version, new GTS E4H. So what does it mean? And SAP is never say that okay, it is the a copy of GTS 11. No, they said that it is new system which same capabilities with some improvements. Okay, so what are the some improvement which they started initially with 2020 E4H. Okay, when I'm saying 2020 E4H, it has complaints. I mean, I'm not sure you or no. Maybe I'm not gonna inside, but there is a three main modules: customs module, complaints module, trade preference module. This is the three main modules which works on the GTS. So compliance module where it works like all your requirements, like you have to follow. If you want to do international business, for example, you want to export something or you want to import something, you need to have a proper authorizations. So you have to have a proper SPL checks. You also have to have proper whether that particular country is a valid country, banned country. For example, right? If you Europe or US should not plan to do any business with Russia. So if your transaction is created with Russia automatically in your system, if you don't have that controls system proceed further, it may unnecessarily create a requirement. It may requirement will be created as a production. Unnecessarily the production will happen and it comes to your warehouse. Even you couldn't even deliver sell that product. So we need to stop all this upfront. That was the main purpose. SAP is tightly integrated with your GTS system with your SAP system, which is S4 HANA system. Kumar, is it only works SAP GTS with S4 HANA? No. We can also external integration with other ERP tools like Oracle or any external tool. But only thing is that direct integration, what you've seen between S4 HANA and GTS may not be the same way with other systems. It's like SAP, both SAP are both SAP products. SAP has a proper integration between these systems. So you can see the flow between these systems are very smooth. But if you want to connect with other systems, yes, SAP is still possible to connect, but you need to make some interfaces. So you need to develop some communication between these systems, maybe different method. It can be API, it can be web services, it can be different ways we can connect your other non-SAP systems to your GTS system. Overall, what we are trying to do with SAP GTS system is to make your company compliant. What does it mean? You should not do any unauthorized transaction. You should not continue do a business with any embargoed country person or any sanctions country, a sanctions person, because any particular person is sanctioned by global trade, so you should not do a business. So, Kumar, why can't we? I know my customers. I can simply identify this person is embargoed, or this country is embargoed, this person is SPL blocked. Why do I need to still use a GTS? My customer is having very limited business. Yes, then what we recommend is we need to check your scalability. Like today, you have only receiving 100 orders per day. So you have maybe 10-member team. A 10-member team can see that addresses of the customers and they can direct. What if one of the customers in somewhere in the US, some region, small area, you doesn't even know who's that person is. How this person who is creating a sales order can really recollect that person? Oh, no, he's a terrorist group related person. Let me block this sales order. No, it's not possible. So that's why SAP GTS offering all these capabilities wherein you can able to make all your business transaction automatically. So this is the background about GTS. Now coming back to the latest version, what we have for the E4H market. E4H, as I mentioned earlier, E4H started in 2020 2021, but version called E4H 2020. Then they have released again 2023 version called E4H 2023. Again they have released somewhere in 2026 starting the release called E4H 2025. Okay, and each version has its own advantage and disadvantage. E4H 2020, if you worked on that project, you will have a lot many challenges because SAP copied GTS as a base and they fine-tuned some of the operations. So it did not work as expected way, but ideal system as of today, 2023 Service Pack 4 or 5. Okay, but SAP also released E4H, which is the latest version 2025. Okay, with Service Pack 1, there is a lot many new capabilities, however, a lot many new issues. Okay, this is the background about the system and the landscape. So how as you already mentioned, I am a SD consultant. How I can able to utilize my SD consultant as an advantage being learning the GTS, and if I'm become a GTS consultant, how I can able to utilize this knowledge? Yes, let me give you a little background. So when we mentioned multiple times, SAP GTS is a standalone system as of today, and it serves as a compliant tool for your business operations. It's not just compliant tool. It also make use that you want to export some goods to US. Okay, how you want to import goods from some country to some country. You want to have your customs authority to sign off your business model. If you don't do that, you will not be able to send your goods out. So for that, so we need to file the customs authority with all our shipment information. SAP GTS also have a capabilities called customs management, wherein you should be able to file your customs authority. You can for export, import, transit, special custom procedures. We can do all. And the last but not least module is a trade preference model. This is a little theory concept, but I will try to give with a simple basic concepts. Okay, what does it mean? You are manufacturing. You are a manufacturing company, and you are making thing that like Coke. Okay, in order to make a Coke, what are the ingredients you need? You need to have a bottle to pack that. You need to have a sugar. You need to have some chemical to have that preservative, maybe gas. Think these are the four items, right? So you are making a manufacturing this product and you want to sell these Coke bottles internationally. Or that liquid, whatever you are saying, that liquid you want to send it internationally. Or a perfume, think that is a perfume. You want to export that goods to some countries. So when you are exporting a goods to customer, and when the exporting person has to hand over country of origin certificate to importer, what does it mean? Exporter has to tell, okay, where is this particular product is originated, means where this particular product is really uh, relevant. I mean, where it really produced, or where, as per the systematic logic, how we can say country of origin for this particular country is this. That information has to be shared to your customer. When we share that information, okay, and if countries, whichever the country, for example, you are doing a business between India and Japan. For example, you are a Japanese company, and Japan is exporting a goods to India. Think that example. And they are selling a perfume to India. So if they're sending a perfume and they mention the country of origin for this particular product is India, sorry, Japan, then as per the agreement between Japan and India, if you are importing a goods of perfume, you can only pay import duties as a 4%. If you are, when you can eligible, there's only 4%. If you have a country of origin says this particular country, Japan. Okay. And if you are not able to provide that information, or you are importing from some other country to India, you need to pay 25%. Imagine that you are importing 1 lakh product. Imagine 4% of 1 lakh compared to 25% of duty you need to pay. So if you're receiving 25% duty, so that means that your product already costed 1,25,000, and you will have a transport charges. It will increase 1,50,000 with all the expenses. So you have your product received to India as 1,50,000. So you need to have a margin. So you need to have advertisement. You have all those things. You will mark your product as 2 lakh, and you start selling it at 2 lakh, okay, of that particular product. Imagine that you have the same perfume coming from the other supplier who can able to provide a country of origin certificate, and you are able to receive the same product with 1,04,000 only, and maybe charges 1,44,000 or 50,000, and you can sell with all the expenditure, all the advertising. Maybe you can go max 1,60,000 or 70,000. You still has a less overdue or overall value for that particular product at your end. You can put one little margin and you can sell it 1,80,000. Imagine if you are selling same product with 1,80,000, the same product from 2 lakh customers, your customer, like when you're purchasing that product from Japan, your customer will prefer you, not the other customer who is selling it 1.8, right? So that is the advantage. Now, why I'm talking about all this, right? So when you want to communicate the country of origin, you need to know, you are manufacturer, you need to know how that particular product is being produced, like how much percentage of sugar, how much percentage of that chemicals, how much percentage of bottle used, how much costly service you have applied on that particular product. All this has to be calculated, and again you need to ask your suppliers. Maybe you are not making all those components also by yourself. Maybe you are selling some components from some supplier at your end. You need to also ask your supplier, okay, give me country of origin for this particular product because I want to run the similar activity at my end for finished product. So in order to perform all these, along with that, worldwide rules have changed very rapidly. So the country of origin determination also has a lot much complex scenarios to be followed. So that all not possible to do manually. So what companies offers, they will go to data provider. The data provider provides the rules. We will implement those rules in our SAP system, and we start collecting the components, the country of origin, preferential status, and we run a preference determination, and we will generate a country of origin for this particular product, and we also generate preferential status for this particular product. That means that we are generating a preferential status for this country. And if you're selling the same product to the country which we have a FTA, we call the agreement I mentioned earlier, right? With the two countries, we call a free trade agreement. That means that if you go to India, JPI, I mean there is a multiple JEFTA, USMCA, NORAM, ILUR. Okay, in world there are 363 agreements as of today. Even if you remember recently, we also have agreement with Europe. Europe is have lot much agreements added recently, like Europe, Malaysia, Europe, South Korea, Europe, Bank. They have lot many agreements they have enabled. What does it mean? If you do a purchase between, if Europe is exporting a good and India is importing that similar good, the same good, they will have a maybe almost 10% before. Now it is only 2% of import duties. Okay, if you, when that will happen, if you exactly follow country of origin, and if you are also fall under the rule, what that rule says, maybe only steel products have the preferential, not all. You need to have only steel. I mean, only steel company get benefited. So those all will not be possible to detect manually. That's where this system help you to build all those free trade agreements, calculation, collecting all the information from the supplier, issuing the information to your customer. And when what will happen, as soon as you all, anybody, I think there's one person mentioned they worked on GTS also. So as soon as you're creating an import declaration document based on this FTA information, system will detect, okay, this FTA, this shipment is going to this particular country, and this is a HS, and this combination we have a free trade agreement, and my product is also eligible for that. Automatically all those information will be automatically imported to your import declaration, and that information goes to customs, and customs will also approve because they have all the detailed documents in your document, and they will approve it. So you will get your product with a lesser charges than what we really planned initially. Okay, this kind of a module also capabilities available under GTS. And if you ask me one thing from this whole point of compliance, customs, and trade preference, SAP, when they're implementing E4H, what they did, they completely redesigned the trade preference module. That means that you will not be able to have transactions like if you worked in GTS 11, you always have a transactions, right? And in case of customs and compliance module, they created a certain app only transactions into the new Fury application, but remaining Fury applications are just copy of your transaction. But where in a trade preference, they completely redesigned. That means that you don't have those apps as a key codes in your GUI screen. If you open a GUI, you will not be able to execute those options. Why? What does it mean? If you open any Fury app, the apps are two types. I mean, there is a multiple variation, but for us point of view discussion, two types. One is GUI Fury app. That means that it's exactly copy of GUI, but this will open in web, where it was used to open a T code. Now, second one is Fury UI5 app. What does it mean? UI5 app is like brand new app which was only available in web. There is similar transaction available in GTS, but that is not at all same. There is similar, but wherein GI app are exact same. Screen, execution, the appearance, everything remains same. So that also you need to keep in mind when anybody is talking about a Fury. Yes, if somebody or some IT SI person said, integrator said that okay, we need to use only GTS E4H with only Fury, they can, you can ask like, okay, how many new UI5 apps are available now in current market? If you ask me, just for information, when SAP started with E4S 2020, they only created 6 UI5 apps. That means that they only collected which is a very prominently used, and they have redesigned that entire app with one single. They reduced redundant app, multiple places which was available. Those all were removed, and they created one single app. The second thing is when it comes to 2023, they increased to 19. Okay, they increased 19 Fury application, UI5 Fury applications. Now, when it comes to 25, I heard, I haven't seen the exact number. There is around 36 new Fury applications. That means that the capabilities are increasing. So SAP able to generate their analytical applications, reporting mechanism, ease of doing business, ease of accessing based on what customer really want. Though they consider all those aspects and they start creating UI5 app. The only different or disadvantage or kind of a challenge as an IT consultant, if you are working before in GUI, so in order to switch to your working culture in Fury is little challenge. But other than that, you will always able to work independently without any issue. And E4H is 2025 is a latest version. This is all about what I want to pass. So I will wait for you if any questions, whatever we discussed. And this information is very much useful. The reason why I'm saying this is while you are talking with anyone on your SAP, Okay, if you are talking with some customer, or you are talking with your CIO, you are talking about your customer lead, okay, who doesn't even really work on SAP GTS, but they are oversee of that module. Okay, so you can able to talk, okay, where it, what is GTS, what is a high level cap. You no need to talk about each individual. Okay, how the sales order, for example, if you're SD concern, how your sales order gets created, how the written order gets created, how advanced written consignments. You no need to talk about, right? You will talk, okay, this is my order flow, this is the overall flow, this is my billing cycle, here my pricing module, this is my output management module, this is the challenges I have. You should speak that way. The same way today's discussion also gives you the same kind of a flavor. What is GTS, what kind of a capabilities, where are we in today's world, what is the upcoming advantage with the current E4H 2025. You can enable all the analytical apps, you can generate new SENs app, and you can also you repurpose the existing developed Fury apps. You have more UI5 apps. So SAP is trying to incorporate all generative AI and machine learning capabilities in, for example, sanctions party list screening. They are trying to incorporate lot many Gen AI capabilities. For example, if you're trying to use classification as a tool today, if you are working classification process from the business side, they need to spend hours time to identify what is a proper classification code for this. SAP also coming back with a very simple tool to propose a classification as soon as the product comes in based on the previously classified product, previously classified description. System try to see and try to propose, okay, this particular product can be this particular tariff number based on these other parameters. If you feel that is comfort correct, you will accept it. If not, at least you got some kind of a gist of the particular product. So that will be a kickstart for you. The similar applications, SAP is keep evolving it. So that's why we are also recommending many customers to switch their GTS 11 to E4H versions. But ideal solution, if you ask me, as of today, 2023 Service Pack 5 is the ideal system to implement. Maybe couple of months from now, maybe 2025 will get all those issues sorted, and maybe we'll be start floating for next version. So we can recommend that. Always -1 version with our -1 service pack. So that's the ideal approach. If you are a consultant or architect, if somebody asks what should be the ideal system to be picked, 1 minus version, 1 minus service pack version. At least that is the ideal. If not, okay, we are okay. We can able to get things done, and we have our strong service integrator who can implement the solution. Then you can switch to not exactly the latest, maybe latest -1 at least service pack level. Okay, so that is the ideal recommendation from the GTS point of view. And here we will gonna talk about what are the spots you anticipate an enhancement, how the enhancement can be developed, what kind of issues you anticipate, what kind of challenges you will encounter while you're doing a migration, what kind of if you are doing a brownfield implementation, what are the key parameters you need to consider. If you're doing a greenfield implementation, what are the key challenges you need to ask, or else you are planning to start a GTS. Okay, and what are the questions you should ask your customer as a first step. Okay, or you are upgrading your custom solution to new country, what are the basic questions you should enforce to your customer. These all point we will try to discuss, not a specific on any day. I am gonna discuss on each individual topic. While we are talking the particular topic, I will try to cover all these aspects. As I mentioned, next 9 minutes I will wait for your questions, and we will try to do kind of a discussion, not just that a training. As I mentioned, this is what I do always with any batches.
Hi, Kumar. Shall I proceed?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is like, will the sessions be recorded for like future purposes? Number one,
Yeah.
and like, will it be provided to us to refer in future?
Yes.
Point one. Okay. Next is like, will we be going through the E4H version 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And like, what are the topics that will be covered? Like, even like end to end, even how do we configure Fury? And because I am getting requirements actually in my current project to enhance the Fury tiles. So that's what, yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for that question. Sorry, may I know who you're talking to?
Debashish, yeah.
Debashish. Thanks, Debashish. So thanks for, I mean, once again, thanks for that. But what we are going to do, we will first explain what is the functionality. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna discuss how that can be configured in the system. Then I would wanna demo that. While we are doing all these three, I'm trying to talk about what are the possible enhancements we can anticipate it here, what kind of a challenges you can anticipate here, what was the solution towards it, because I can, as I mentioned initially, right, I can try to give a roadmap how you can able to move forward with knowledge of that technology, but I can give like how you can able to solve that out, but I may not be able to give you 100% solution. The reason behind why I'm saying is maybe you have a system dependence issues, or you have someone made some changes at somewhere else which is impacting here. Those all can't be really identified or really unique to all the customer or all the persons, right? So those things may not be able to cover, but what I am trying to give a quick demo on the one example. For example, you want to we are talking about export declaration. I'm going to show you how you can create an export declaration. Then I'm going to show you what are the configuration required for this export declaration. Then I'm going to talk about what are the background or what does it mean, what do you export, what kind of information, what kind of a input required, what kind of a prerequisites for this export process, what are the information has to be available. Then I'm also going to talk about what is the trigger points, where is the enhancement will call out, what kind of a spot we need to enhance it based on the customer to customer, whatever based on my experience I can try to bring into the forum. The last but not least is I will try to also see what kind of a questions, like if you are planning to attempt an interview, what kind of a question you will anticipate in this particular areas. Like if you say that I'm working on exports from US, definitely there's a certain questions will definitely past are definitely being asked. I'm gonna also discuss those points on within the each topic. I'm not gonna cover okay. Today we are gonna talk only on entry questions. No. Are we today we are only talking only on the prices? No, because if I do that, there won't be any connectivity, or it will be like one directional training. Okay, so I'm trying to talk at that particular this topic. When we are talking about, I'm going to cover as much as possible towards that connect topic, so that's you also understand, you will also able to connect the dots.
Right. Uh, so, like my question is still not clear 100% because if it is possible, could you share the topics that would be covered both in Fury
Mhm.
and GUI SPRO
Mhm.
settings? Yeah.
So okay, for sure, I will get that next call. I'm gonna show you quickly, and I will also share that as a MOM today. Maybe I will share with my team, Expertsoft team, and they will publish to you all. So that's how we will go. But just one thing to be clarified: if you are using a Fury or if you're using a GUI, the backend configurations are remain same. Okay, the backend is
Okay.
remains same. The way you execute the transactions in Fury, the way you execute the transaction in Fury GI is different. As I mentioned, some transactions are not available in Fury, some transactions are not available in GI, and I can also show you how you can able to bring them, what kind of possibilities. So I mean, we can talk each individual topics based on the situations.
Understood.
I will, yeah.
Uh,
Makes
so,
sense.
will we be getting the test systems like servers where we can do
Yeah,
these
yeah.
configurations as well? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Okay.
think I can wait for Naveen and team to address. And while we are going this training, we will have that server. Even after training complete, I think there is a month period. I think you will still have access to the server, and that period
Mhm.
you keep posting. I think there is a application you all receive, and you will keep posting the questions there. And I will keep answering. Okay. May not be. I mean,
Okay.
if you really need urgent call, maybe Naveen and team or experts of team will arrange a one call and we'll address all
Mhm.
those questions.
Okay. What will be the total tenure? Sorry, I am asking a lot of questions.
No, that's fine. So The idea is that we will are planning to have this on weekend batch. Okay, that's the first point. Or unless until any challenges with all the team members, we will not change that. And every day, Saturday 2 to 2.5 hours, and Sunday 2 to 2.5 hours. That means that you will have 5 hours overall training program will be given in a week. So with that, we will try to cover six of our. I mean, I cannot tell the number of weeks because it may be 1 or 2 weeks will be up and down, but we will try to cover 2.5 months period. We will try to cover this training. And as I mentioned, 1 extra month, or I don't exactly remember, but 1.5 month period, you will get the extra system. That means that I think overall 4 months, what we will have this system, but 2.5 months where we go with this training program.
Okay.
Any
So
other?
basically,
Mhm.
we will also have the ECC as well as GTS system accesses, right?
Not ECC, S4 and GTS.
Okay, okay. Because for my client, we have integrated ECC with this E4H
That's
GTS.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. But I think, yeah, we can talk like while discussing like what are the differences. But yeah, we have our system with the S4 HANA system. I think it's
Mhm.
2023 with the E4H 2023.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Kumar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
Kumar,
problem.
let
Over
me
to you.
have a question, please. Yeah, I would like to have a question. Actually, you mentioned about the E4H 25 version, right?
Mhm.
Where, when it is expected, Kumar?
It's already live.
They're already in
I
live.
have
Okay.
my already some of my customers already we are started working for implementation with 2025.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Okay. So, yeah, but we
three
are going
months.
to
I
land.
think
Sorry, sir, please go ahead.
the 2025 version already launched 3 months old, 3.5 months old, and we already have few customers where we are already started working to implementing 2025. But I mean, in this batch, I'm not gonna have the 2025 version in the system as of now because we haven't built that. And at this point in time, 2023. But I think I will touch base a few points what is changing in 2025, just
Yeah.
like
Okay, that's
whatever I
fine.
experience on my go. Okay.
Okay, that definitely helpful. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I understand there are a lot of Fury apps is going to come in the 25 version. So that would be great.
And just touch base, right? If any technical person, you're not having any background or functional, not a problem. But if you are working on SD or MM or some functionality, you will have a little advantage for sure. Okay. If you are a technical person, you will have a different advantage than SD person. But
Mm.
there is an advantage if you are SD or MM person because the way you deal SD activities, some activities are similar, so you can easily correlate and you can understand easily. Where in others, it will have a little complex time. But yeah, I will try to make it as simple as possible with real time examples and real scenarios. So you will try to catch up. But make sure if you're not able to join any particular day, make sure you cover that recording which been shared by our team and come back with the next week questions. One request, I'm not planning to do that is complete repetition of any session. Unless you have a question, we will talk about. You have a particular topic, we will talk about it, but not whole day because okay, Kumar, today we are not available. Can you repeat? No, that may not be possible because to look at all the participant, we need to make sure everybody should be give proper priority. So if you're not available, and if the whole, I mean, out of 10, only one person is available, then we will look, okay, maybe can we postpone this tomorrow session to one other day. But in most of the cases, we'll go as expected, unless until I have any personal commitments or emergencies. Okay.
No, that's fine. Yeah, perfectly fine.
Any questions for
Other
anyone?
uh, other than recording, will we also receive some study materials to go through or something? Because I was
Let me
searching.
tell you, right? Let me tell
Yeah.
you. I mean, tomorrow's call. This is
Mm.
already a freeware by SAP. If you just need your SAP ID, SAP ID. If you are already working, you will definitely have yours or one of your team members. Come with that. Tomorrow I'm gonna show you some of the very, very detailed articulation or documents available by SAP. We don't want to recreate something again from the scratch. Even I'm gonna use those content to talk, but I'm trying to give my experience on top of that what SAP is offering. But there is a very good study material available out of SAP itself. And I
Understood.
think
Thanks.
and I think SAP is, I'm not sure now, but it was a year back. SAP also giving a free certificate if you complete that course, and I think you pass that certain exam. I think they are also offering without anything. If you have that required only your SAP ID.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you how to access, how you can get those. I'm gonna discuss all those tomorrow. Okay.
Hi
Okay.
Kumar, quick question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So, yeah. Thank you for the quick insight. So, I have a question. The question is, I am from a technical background. I'm from ABAP. So,
Mhm.
where do I fit in? And will you help me reduce the gap between the integration from SD to GTS and the EWM to GTS and MM to GTS? So, will it be able to help me completely understand?
So, I will tell you one way, Sai Kiran. Okay. Let me tell you this way, right? I may not be able to go on the too much on the technical. Okay. If you're a ABAP person or if you're a ABAP consultant, GTS is not something out of the box. Only difference is you need to understand which body to be used, which method to be used, how I should write a RFC call to my GTS system. Those things are little different, but ABAP is still same in GTS too. What I'm gonna talk about it, how, for example, I'm talking about, for example, I want to communicate extra packing information from my proforma invoice from S4 to GTS. How you can able to develop, what kind of a method you can use, which CDoc prop bad you can use, which other BAPIs can be used, how you can able to identify some kind of a tips and tricks. That's it. And that remaining all is basic standard cycle. But you need to, if you want a technical knowledge, I don't want to be a GTS consultant here. I want to explore my technical GTS knowledge. Then I would say this is not the forum for you. The reason is we will try more focus on a functional. So you can become a functional consultant after this. If you're not, you can become a functional consultant after this training program. But you can also increase your technical knowledge. How if you want to work in a GTS objects, but I'm not going to talk about other ABAP stuff which is common in a normal ABAP also. Hope that answers.
Yes, Kumar, thank you for that. So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm trying to change into functional. So, my question was, will you be able to help me to understand the integration part from FIMM in the functional perspective?
Which
FIMM
one?
and GTS. FIMM and GTS.
FI, MM, and MM is 100%, SD, MM 100%. FI means are you expecting a payment integration, payment, a vendor payment invoice screenings, or are you expecting that? Not really, because we will try to cover a basics of it, but not too much in the FI. But I'm gonna talk about TM integration. I'm gonna talk about EWM integrations.
Okay, thank you, Kumar.
Finance, as per my experience of past 16, 17 years, I never see that much extensively payment transactions are being screened for SPL. I mean, I know there is a payment screening also out of the box, but they're not extensively being used. There is also bank screening, not extensively used. But yeah, I'm gonna
Uh,
talk about it, but not extensively.
Kumar, on this point, because in my current project, I am facing such issue. Like
Mhm,
for some payment proposals, the vendors
mhm,
are getting blocked in GTS side,
mhm,
and
mhm,
like we had to maintain the term in the comparison terms.
mhm,
So yeah, so we have this as well in our. So basically, it's integrated with FI, MM, SD, and LEIM as well. GTS
mhm.
in our project. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, right? I know there is a SAP out of the box payment screening, invoice screening or vendor screening, but we are not really gonna. I mean, I will try to set up in our system and see if that works, and I can also show you how. That's a very simple basic configuration, 1 or 2 steps. Okay, but I need to have all the payment transactions. I mean, I know bits and pieces of finance and not really if I stuck, I will not be able to move forward. But let me try to see if I can able to build that out. I can try, but I don't want to promise that I can able to show you integration with finance and GTS. Not really. There is some integration I can show you, like for example, you are trying to create a customs invoice, okay, for your inbound operation. I can try to show how it works, but not extensively towards finance integration, which you are mentioned. Why the payments are blocked? I mean, one other point, if you have any issues in our current system, I can try helping out, but I'm not 100% also want to promise here that I will fix it for you, because it has a lot many other dependencies also. What, not just GTS or not just standard GTS operation. It may be you made some custom development which is causing the issue, or you have some dependent data which you're supposed to expect it is not available. So those all I can't anticipate, but I can try to give you tips and tricks, but not able to 100% promise that I can support you to fix your issues. Hope that
Understood.
understandable, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because every client will have their Z enhancements, right? So
I agree. Thank you for that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because I have also been with working with multiple clients, so I know like every client has their own customizations, and it's not, we can never I mean, complete all the scenarios in one at one go. But yeah, at least we should know how to debug or
Yes.
troubleshoot
Yes.
if any issue comes, right? Yeah.
And okay, Devashish, as you mentioned, I will say, even if there is a technical person here, think that you don't know technical. Okay. Stop thinking
Correct.
that you know technical. Okay. The reason why I'm saying is, if you start thinking you know technical, you will not learn any more functional. I'm this is with my experience. I'm telling you, even I do that. Okay. Face of situations because I need to fix things very faster. So I will turn on, become like a technical person, and I start doing debugging and finding the issue. But that is, I would recommend, stop thinking that even you are not technical. If you find the issue, just don't start your debugging. Try spending, create with different scenario, trying to understand the issue. Then only you will learn functionality or a functional. If you start showing that debugging immediately, I will definitely teach you. I will definitely tell you how you can do that. But my only recommendation, not at all try to think that you know technical. Then you will never
Correct.
learn functionality.
Correct. But actually, when in the field, what happens is like the ABAPers expect that we give them the point where the issue is coming. Okay. So in so that's why we need to first understand ourselves, like where the issue is coming, or what is the user exit in which the issue is coming. So we need to provide all those details to the ABAPer. So that's
I
why,
agree.
I
I
mean,
agree, but I
yeah,
think, as I mentioned, Abhishek, I get you. I, because I know, okay, in and out, day in day out, I have this kind of issues coming across my team and my whole group. So I have to answer somewhere. But my only point is, if you start going in that route, you will not get a time to cover the whole GTS functionality. Okay, keep that
true.
in mind. I will try to see as much as basic stuff. That's why I don't want to promise anything out of what I cannot do here. Okay, and because I don't want to talk today something like that differently, and the end of the day differently. I want to stay in the same line. What we have promised here, it will be fulfilled. Whatever we say that we can try, if things permit, if things are working as expected way, I can definitely show. I don't have anything to stop or hiding there. Okay. But only point is, if I start going out of what we planned, it will not be sufficient what we have initially document or planned for this batch.
True, true. So, last not but the least, Kumar, will we be able to crack interview like in? Actually, my wish is to go to a big four company, to go to an implementation project. So, yeah, after
Uh,
completing this course, will we be able to do that?
I can say yes and no. The two reasons, right? I will guide you, I will train you as much as what I can do. Okay. It's again, as I mentioned, this is how I started my today's training, or this is how I will anyway start in any batch, right? If you don't spend time, if you don't invest your time on learning this, you can't.
Correct.
I'm giving you hype right away. If you can't, you can't. This is not a program, or we are not even saying that it's a job guarantee training program. No, we are trying to teach you how to speak, how to. I mean, we will give a roadmap how you can navigate things up. So it's up upon you, like how you prepare yourself, how you come up with. Say, for example, right? I will teach you like how SPL works, where it is utilized, what is the data. So I can go that. So you come up with, okay, I tried this. This is my analysis. This is my understanding. Can you help me maybe connect the dots? I can help you understand. Then you will get more insight than what I am teaching. It's completely how much you invest time on this program, not just on the just part of this training calls. Training calls is only 2%. Remaining 97 or 98% is what you need to do from your side. How much you really spend on time and practice and come back with the questions to us. It will not just useful for you, and others also benefit, but others will benefit. Okay, if this issue comes in, this is how I need to solve. But what you learned to reach to that point, others can't be reached. Each individual has to spend their own time. If you really want, if you any two persons are known each other, try sitting together and practice and come back with more questions. I mean, that is fine, but my only point is that you should practice yourself. You will stuck for sure. I'm guarantee I will help you out. But if you don't stuck and if you don't spend time and trying to come out from that situation, then you will never be able to learn anything. This training will be like, yeah, very smooth training program. After a week, you will don't even remember what is the basic transaction or basic table where you see this data. Clear?
Understood. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think I spoke a lot with the Bashish. I see Sai Kiran. Any questions, Rishabh, Manishankar, Satish, Jagadishwar?
I think we are good. I'm good at least, Kumar.
Thank you, Shankar. Anything, Jagadishwar, Satish? Okay. Okay. So today, as I mentioned, maybe I'm not sure, multiple people are not available. Um, this training program, I will quickly recap what we are planning. This training program, we try to give as for HANA integration basics topics from the SD. I'm not going to cover, okay, Kumar, will you able to cover SD? No. I will try to give you what we need. I will try to tell you how you create a sales order, how you create delivery. Maybe if you stuck with the route determination, I can help you. If you stuck with shipping point determination, I maybe help you. But not, I'm not gonna teach you anything and that sort. You need to spend your time. Maybe I can help you on the preparation of test data. Because our aim is we talk more on how the integration works, what kind of enhancement it should be, what kind of a GTS functionality, SPL, embargo, legal control, export legal control, import legal control, what kind of a legal control situation, how we can able to utilize legal control for some other application capabilities, how the product classification work, how the export operation, how the import operation, what are the special custom procedures in the market, what are the possible and what how the trade preference work, how the solicitation works, how the preference determination works, okay, how the certification works, okay, and then we also talk about what are the free apps, how you can able to integrate, how the configuration works, and we also gonna talk about interview related topics or enhancement related topics. This is the training program. Mainly, we will try to focus five-step approach. First topic, we will explain the topic. We'll go with the demo. We'll go with the configuration. We go with interview question, basic interview question, enhancement spots. This is how the training program works. And last 10 minutes every day, whenever we had once, maybe in the second week or third week, first and last 10 minutes to 15 minutes, we'll wait to see if any questions from the previous call or any questions within that call. Clear?
Clear, sir. Probably one suggestion we could ourselves first try to solve, and if no one is able to solve, then we come to you. I think
No,
it will
I mean
save time. Yeah.
that's up to all of you. I mean, I see some batches they create like a groups themselves and start working parallelly, saying that okay, this is how we will. They connect each other offline and start preparing the data. But only one thing is when you are preparing any, I mean that guidelines, guardrails or restrictions, I will try to tell like while you are doing any new configuration, it might impact for others, and I will try to see how you can able to avoid others impactions. Okay, so that also we'll talk next call or next call. Okay, I will try to keep tomorrow. You will get familiarity of the GTS and all the functionalities, and maybe with a small quick demo at that. Okay.
Thanks.
And if no other questions, thank you so much, team. And let's connect tomorrow at the
I
same
got
time.
one question.
We'll be
Mhm.
right at the same
Go
time
ahead.
tomorrow.
Same time. It's always at 6:30. And
Yeah.
make sure I will be available. Sorry for today and without any computer, but Mani, I think you were saying something.
Yeah, I got one question. This is Satish.
Mhm.
On the integration part, just wanted to check. It's if I'm not wrong, GTS and S4 are different servers, right? Will
It's
you
not
also
always
like
different
a
servers, Satish. Yeah, it's not always different servers. SAP is now coming up an idea that you can install your GTS within your S4 HANA. What does it mean? You will implement your S4 HANA in 100 client and you can install GTS into 100 client. That means that you can be implementing GTS within S4 HANA also. We implemented such projects also. But ideal scenario, ideal recommended approach is standalone system means separate server.
and the communication is a web services or it's like if like
I
a
mean
EWM?
standalone servers because we don't have that setup at this point in time in S4 because that training systems they were developed in a way to handle individual systems only. And 80 to 85% of customers will use this concept only.
Yeah, that's what I want to understand. Which kind of like a training you would show us, like a
Standalone concept. Two
standalone.
different
So we
systems.
should assume that the sale order is flowed here, and we got the uh, GTS document created, and how should we proceed further?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. And I think hope we'll connect tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks all. Thanks all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So today what we are gonna continue is that yesterday we were talking about what is SAP GTS, how it is evolved, from where are we now, and what kind of capabilities GTS system has it, and how are the functionalities are evolved by S4 HANA as a parallel system, and we talked about all this. Now today we are gonna talk about some of the dependent modules in SAP in order to be a proper GTS consultant. So this is a basic guidelines you should minimum you should have it while you are working for any GTS project. One of them is sales and distribution. Okay, and SAP SD. So as I mentioned, it might not really require to be to have end-to-end GTS SD, sorry, SAP SD knowledge, but it will also help you to better uh, system consultant, right? So it will help you to have your own skill. For example, you want to make some scenario to be verified, so you cannot simply rely on a SD consultant who is working on your project, or you want to test something your own, you need to rely on something existing data. So those are all the challenges. So what we are going to talk about here is today on SD, what are the basic documents you would require, and how the data can be created in the system, and what are the prerequisites in order to have a GTS system start working. So, for example, as we talked about, GTS is basically as a compliance system. GTS is a basic compliance system which help you to validate all your sales transaction. What does it mean? When you are selling a product internationally or domestically, you have to review whether all the compliance requirements are met or not.
So that's what in order to validate that, you need to have a certain transactions. One of them is sales order. Okay, if anybody join here in the call who doesn't even aware of what is this sales document, the sales document is something like when you customer called you saying that I want these are product with this quantity and this is the date I'm expecting, all those information will be available in this particular sales transaction, okay, which we generally call as a sales transaction. What will happen, what are the information will be available in the sales transaction is your customer information, your product information, quantities, okay, and where are you shipping from this goods, okay, when you are anticipating these goods to be delivered, and any other notes, okay, additionally, which other than that, and along with that we also will receive pricing information, okay. So these are the some of the basic information. Don't get confused, I'm not talking about SAP SD. When you're talking about SAP SD, I may not talk more, but these are the some of the information we generally enter in the sales transaction while you're entering in the sales creation. So these are the some of the information which we need to transfer to GTS, and we will perform a screening. So why do you need these are the information? For example, you want to validate a compliance requirement. How do you validate a compliance requirement? You need to understand to whom you are shipping, okay. That requirement will be able to understand by your customer information. Customer is nothing but who is ordering your product to purchase from you, okay. And we also need to validate whether you have a proper authorization to ship that particular product, or are you authorized to sell that particular product to certain countries. So that information you need to have a product master, that also we require to be transferred. And along with that, we need to also sometime understand authorizations required a specific quantity, okay. That means that you cannot simply ship lakhs of quantities to the certain country. Maybe you have a permit only for 10,000 products, okay. So then you need this, and you also need to dates, right? What date you are shipping? Maybe today you don't have a permit, maybe certain point in time you have a permit. So you need to have that validation on the shipping dates and where you are shipping from. This will tell you from which country you are shipping from. Maybe you're shipping from US, or you're shipping from Germany, you're shipping from some X country, okay. So you're shipping, that will tell you from your shipping information, okay. And any additional loads, this will help you to navigate if anything monitor at the time of your compliance requirements or anything. The pricing is something like your product value, like sometime not just quantity, you will also have authorization from authorities saying that okay, you need to have you can only sell this particular product to this company of 1 million US dollars only. So you need to also have this information. So when you create a sales order, sales transaction in your system, these are the information has to be flown, okay. So when I'm talking about all these, you see some of the transactions are master data, some of the transaction has as a organization elements. What does it mean? Okay, first let's go just document and hear from you all. So what are the master data will be involved while you are creating any sales transaction? Business partner, which can be a customer, which can be a supplier, which can be a bank, okay. You can also talk about material master. Any other master data we will try to utilize for your regular people. I think you can
Company code.
be company code, but company code may not be a master data, right? Org data. So when I say company code, I will mark as a org data point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And any other information we will fill while you are creating a transactions in SAP. Price, I think we talked about. Okay, pricing also master data. Maybe contact persons. This can be part of a business partner. That's why I don't want to add it again. When you're saying a business partner, it can be customer, it can be supplier, it can be anything. Okay, customer, supplier, contact person, and so forth. Okay. Then these are the some of the master data. So we will also talk about some more master data in the down the line, something like bill of materials, okay, and procurement information. so on and so forth. And we can also sometimes share with CMI information, info record. If you are SD person, you know all these terminology. You will use day in day out in order to perform your alternate transactions. Can you help me? What are the organizational data we will talk about when we are preparing any transaction? Company code,
Company code, plant,
plant, sales org,
sales organization. Yeah.
checking point, S log, storage location, so on and so forth, right? So these are the master data we will try to utilize when you are creating any sales transaction. I don't want to go only in the sales side. Let me also go in a SAP MM, or we call now as P2P differently. We will also create purchase order. Okay. When you're talking about purchase order, we will use supplier, we'll use product, we'll use quantities, we'll use purchasing information, like where you are purchasing. Okay. And we also come across dates and also prices, so on and so forth, the same way like what you do. But in the case of sales order, we are selling a product to the customers. In case of a purchasing, you are purchasing a product from your suppliers or a vendors. Okay, I mean, if you are confusing with supplier, it is another word for this is a supply vendor. You are purchasing a product from you. In this case also, we will have a similar amount of master data. Okay, you will have business partner, which I covered, supplier, product, which is also material, or let me use material here as a simpler word for you all. Okay, and we are talked about prices, material, procurement information, which is required. See, because if you don't have a procurement information, you cannot procure it. If that particular product is I mean, if the particular product is manufacturing your location, you will not consider that as a procurement, right? You are manufacturing it, producing it. So procurement information, you will also have a info record. Info record basically tell you what is your product name under your vendors records in vendor system. So the same way, if I talk about CMIR, are people call customer material info record. Okay, people, what does it mean? Your product information in the customer system. So you call the particular product is material 1 2 3 4, but so same product in the customer system may not be called as material 1 2 3 4. You will call plug, or you will call bonnet, or you will call some X material. Okay, that information will be stored in customer info. These are the master data which we generally use it, and these are the some of the organizational data we'll use for any of our sales and purchase transactions. Now coming back to the global trade system, which we are now turning into the GTS side. So when you are creating any GTS, now we require these all master data in order to have your transaction will be perform a screening. So what it does in SAP GTS system, as soon as you create a sales transaction, system will transfer this data to GTS as a customs export document. Okay, why we are calling it's a customs purpose, and export means we are using this is a sales transaction, so we mark this as a customs export document. Sales order is mapped with customs export document. Okay, this is for example S4 HANA, ECC, or any feeder system, so far. Okay, and the same way, if it's a purchase order, what it could be? Anyone can guess it?
Import, customs import document.
Customs import document.
Yeah, I think. Thank you so much. So this is clearly remember these words, because going forward sessions, I don't really call about like sales order. From the GTS point of view, I will talk about customs document or customs export document, customs document, customs import document for the purchases. Okay, so what does it mean?
So as soon as you create a sales order, the sales order information will go to GTS, gets created as a customs export document. What does it mean, Kumar, for us is that, so if you open a sales order, you will have tons of information. You will have a lot many scheduling information. What is the schedule lines? What is the ATP? What is the um, uh, different information available in the GTS? Maybe we will also talk about item category, prices, and so on and so forth. Okay, so how system really need to get the information is this what we are talked about. These are only information is needed for you perform all your global trade compliance validation. Okay, so when I'm talking about a sales order get created, and there will be an RFC call happen to GTS, and it gets created as a customs document. The same way, when the purchase order gets created, this purchase order gets also transferred to GTS and gets created as RFC to customs import document. And as soon as a customs export or import documents gets created, it will perform the dedicated activities, whether it required a sanctions party list screening or whatever compliance activity we need to perform on this transaction. And immediately the response will come back to your feeder system. That means that as soon as, let's go back to business real scenario, your end customer, your end operator in your company will receive a phone call from your customer, so and so 1234 customer, and he called us that, okay, I want so and so product. Okay, this is a customer from which plant he is planning, which what is the product, all those information he will hit enter. As soon as he create a sales transaction, system will do a call to GTS system, and it perform all the checks, and it will tell you whether this is ready to perform your compliance operations or not. Okay, so let's go quickly. I mean, I'm not still going with your, like, what is your GTS, how this configuration has to happen, how this document has to be created. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about overall business flow, how the transaction will be get called as soon as you create sales order or a purchase order. Okay. Let me know. I'm sharing my screen with SAP. I hope you all can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so now I have created some sample data. Okay, anyways, let me go back. So I'm going to talk about all this later, but I think this is some of the information we need to all know. So in a whole our training program, we use P23 as our SAP feeder system and SH4 as our GTS E4H system. Okay, let's go deep dive into SAP S4 HANA. And maybe by now you should all receive your credentials. If not, please get them collected as soon as possible. Okay, and I'm trying to create some customs export document. Okay, and I'm planning to create under this. So what I'm trying to do is, I mean, if any non-SAP persons, this is a sales transaction where I'm creating a sales order which I'm receiving from a customer, telephone call, or whatever way I receive this information. He is my customer. Okay, and this customer called me up and said that I want a product of this with, for example, 100 units. Okay, and I'm planning to deliver this product. I mean, he's expecting the sales order maybe by 8th month, maybe 10th of this month. Okay, so he's requesting this particular from F4. Think that he's expecting a delivery by 8th month of 8th of this month. Okay, so as soon as I click the sales order, as a end user, I don't need to really worry about anything. I have required information which I received from my customer, and I have just saving it. Okay, as soon as I save this transaction, there is some incomplete. Let's try to see.
Okay, there is some schedule lines are not fulfilled. Okay, that is fine because there is a credit block. So this is some SD part. I will try to fix. I mean, it's not an issue, but this is a business process. We need to accept it. We will save the sales. So as soon as I create a sales order as an end user, okay, and its system immediately went to GTS. Okay, it run through GTS with all the required information like sales order, it in the sales order, what's the customer, what is the plan, from where are we shipping from, what is the quantity, all this information. It went to GTS and came back immediately with a pop-up saying that SAP GTS compliance result block document, saying that embargo is released, screening is blocked, legal control is blocked with some reasons. That means that as soon as the end user is creating, if this particular sales order is emergency order or some immediate requirement, then that person would reach out to the compliant requirement team saying that I created a sales order, but I got a block saying that this sales order is having an issue. Can you please resolve because I need to ship these goods out? Okay, even okay, you have reached out, however you didn't receive any response from them, but you need to clear this delivery to further. Okay, so what you can try one step, just to ignore this for a second. This is, I'm just releasing the credit block which we popped up earlier. This is nothing to do with your GTS. So the particular customer has some limit and that limit is crossed, so that's why system is not allowing me to create any more shipments to that particular person. But anyways, I'm, as it is test system, I just bypassing this thing. Okay, again the system perform the GTS screening as soon as I release. So now I have released that order, and I don't know, this particular order was created by someone else. I don't know whether this I can proceed further, but I am from the shipping department. I'm planning to create a delivery for this particular sales transaction. So as soon as create a ship delivery, and I get the messages saying that it is not fully ready, or I can also some, I mean, this is maybe due to some other challenges, but you should be able to see a message saying that this particular transaction is blocked for GTS. Let me see what other incomplete was for this particular transaction. Okay. Okay, let me create some other. This is a third party flow, so that's why it is.
Sorry, Kumar, sorry for the interruption. Is the screen you are sharing full screen, or I'm not able to see the full screen?
Is it the same issue with all? I can see I'm sharing full screen.
I am zooming in, zooming out, but yeah, some
It is
portion
not
is.
showing the entire screen actually.
Sorry,
Zooming
you
in,
can't
zooming
see.
out, it is not showing up the entire screen. Only the part of the screen is we can able to zoom in.
Okay.
I want to see the complete screen. No issue.
Yeah, even I can. I mean, whatever I'm presenting. Are you joined through phone or something?
No.
Maybe try with the web money. Or just.
No, I'm trying with the both web as well as the desktop mode, both the mode.
Mm-hmm.
Both the modes are similar.
Because I can definitely tell you that I can, even whatever I'm presenting, I can also see from my side, which I can definitely see full screen. If you look at here, so whatever I'm presenting, I can see full screen.
The screen is actually very small in size for us. Yeah, for me at least. I don't know for about others.
Anyone else has the same issue? I can stop and present it again. Can you try now, Mani?
Money, if you are in the app from desktop, there is a three dots at the top right section. You can click that, and there is one option toggle full screen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in that
And you
way, you will
can,
be
Yeah, or
yeah.
else you
I did
can
that mode
click
only.
on,
Yeah.
there is a drop down to hide the attendees. Okay, hide
Uh,
everyone. You can see hide everyone, right?
Let me share my screen maybe. Okay, so I think
Yeah,
Debash is
everyone is
saying,
there, right? There is a drop down at the top. Okay, you just click on that and hide everyone. Yeah, click on hide everyone. It will
yeah,
be a
I
full
think,
screen for you.
it's a lot better.
perfect. Thanks, Navin. Debash.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, let me go back to SAP.
Okay.
Maybe Kumar, even if you can increase the font size to 12 or 14, it will be really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, because you are using a Mac, right? It's a little bit font size is less actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm not a Mac person. I think this is the first time using. It's very.
No,
I don't know.
the settings that he's saying you will get in the GUI itself. In the
Yeah, but
GUI
that.
settings, yeah,
Okay, you want me to increase this font in
yeah,
SAP?
yeah, 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 correct.
Uh, okay, allow me a second. But that would be
Yeah, options. Yeah.
complicated for you more if you do that.
Interaction design or visual design, I guess so.
Any more theme, right? Font or anything. I think does not really this is current. I'm not sure, Navin, I have access to do that. But I think this is
There is
72 mono space.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I don't have.
Can you click on if any number is more than that?
No, but it is kind of a grayed out, Navin. I can't
Okay.
use it.
No problem. Okay. For today, you
Okay.
manage it. Let's see. Okay. I'll see the settings later on. Okay.
Yeah.
As of now, it's good, right, Money?
Yeah,
For
it's
now,
better. Yeah, it's better after toggling to full screen and
Yeah, it is
hiding
a lot
everyone.
better.
Yeah.
perfect. Thanks. Okay,
Yeah, you may please
so
continue.
what I'm trying to get at an example with one particular sales order, which we let me pick anything which I don't want item category cat. That is a third party one. I will try to fix. Okay, perfect. This one.
Kumar, I had a question.
Mhm.
The question is like, which scenarios flow to GTS? I mean, STO, third party, intercompany, like that.
Okay, I
Because
think.
yeah, I get confused actually in this point.
Okay, let's not go into that discussion at this point in time, Debashish. Point taken. I will make sure you will get that stays. Okay, before we close this call for sure today. Okay. I'm just trying to create a sales order. Okay, so I think these are I need to set up. Land is not maintained. Anyway, just ignore for now. So what I'm trying to say is, as soon as we create a sales order, the system trying to immediately saying that the document is blocked for your SPL screening, and you are not able to make a further transaction to perform all the activity. Try to transfer. I'm doing a few activity which is not immediately will be able to understand. Let me try to create another example. Uh,
Probably that material was not transferred to GTS.
yes,
That's why you
yeah,
manually transferred. Yeah.
yeah. I will. I mean, yeah, yes, and yes, that is correct. But I think I don't want to talk those at this point in time. The reason behind is I want to give a bit of pre pre-explanation to understand and reaching that stage. Okay, just allow me a minute. Okay, so now I need to fix this credit issues for all these customers. Okay, so as soon as you create a sales order, system got a block pop-up, okay, saying that this particular transaction is blocked with your compliance screening. Leave about all those SPL and embargo and legal, and we'll talk about it. But what I'm trying to now say is that you are able to see within your source system. So if the particular supplier person is required to transfer this immediate information to shipping department, he cannot. The reason is it will start blocking it to move it to the next stage of it. So how we will control all this, we're going to talk about it. Which sales transactions you want to have this pop-up, which sales transaction, even you want, if there is a certain sales transaction are getting through EDI, for example. Okay, I'm just giving an hypothetical scenarios. So when you are creating a EDI, means you have a subsystem where, or a web system where it creates sales orders by the customers, and that will come flow through IDOC or some EDI mechanism, and it come to GTS. Do you really need to have this pop-up? No, nobody will really able to see that because it all happen at background. Okay, so there could be a situation by your customer. Okay, I'm getting, even I'm receiving this EDI orders, I'm not able to, there is no point of enabling this compliance block pop-up. I don't want this particular pop-up for certain sales transaction types. You can able to control those. What does it mean? Whatever GTS consultant, you also have to make some configurable settings in the your feeder system also. What does it mean? What are the sales transaction you want your GTS team, GTS compliance check has to be performed? Okay, what are the services this GTS particular transaction has to be executed? Okay, and apart from that, okay, I'm also going to talk about details about configurations and all, where we can able to find and all, but just trying to understand what are the possible situations. You have the situation that customers may require to ask you saying that I don't want this pop-up, even I'm creating manually, I don't want to see, because I am my responsibility only create, and there is another department who will take care of any blocks, anything other than, they will reach out to you if needed. So there may be a situation that you receive certain requirement. How do you stop it? We all talk about it. Now coming back to the other original topic which is started, as soon as you create a sales order, now think that you have created a sales order. Kumar, I want to create a purchase order and see how it works too. Okay, let me try to create a purchase order and see how it works out. Okay, let me see if I create something yesterday. Okay, I think I have this here. So I'm not going to create something from the scratch, and SAP has an option that you can simply replicate this information to further use. Okay, just pulling this out into my, this is again a purchasing or I will gonna talk wherever we have the permission, wherever we have some configuration information need to know, I'm gonna talk about it, but for now just ignore all those. No, I'm just dragging the existing PO and creating my PO. So what I'm trying to do here is, what are the information it got entered? Supplier, which are the purchase arc, which is a purchase group, what is the company code, which is a material, quantity, dates, and plant and storage location. Some more information. You see, if you go back to the Incoterms, okay, and payment terms, organizational data, partners, addresses, so and so forth. Okay, as soon as you create a say purchase order, let's see, anything you need to really bother. Purchase order still incomplete. No short text maintained in the Germany for this particular material in German. It's okay. I don't really, okay, will it not allow me? Okay, I got purchase order got created, but I don't see any pop-up. That means that this purchase, it can be two ways, right? This purchase order is not configured to perform your compliance screening, or there is another possibility. You need to always remember, if there is no block, there is no compliance block on this purchase order, system immediately make you not to see any pop-up in S4 site. Okay, and for example, you want to also see those, you don't have a GTS system, but you want to validate all your these checks, right? What happened to your purchase order, what happened to your sales order, okay? And you want to validate those. You can also SAP given a certain possibilities in order to validate and check whether your transactions are, what is the current status of it, and all those things. If you want to cross check, these are the some of the transactions you can able to see what happened to your sales transactions and purchase transactions. Okay, and this is some of the examples. Okay, we have created a different number. Let me try to show you that. Create this supplier number by purchase orders, and I can able to see these many purchase orders were created in the system, and these are the current statuses. They may not able to see what because you are not the one who created the purchase order. Okay, but you want to see that in within SAP S4 HANA or ECC, this is the transaction, you can able to see it. Okay, and the same way, if you want to use that, you can also use, there is a transaction to display your sales side of transaction. Maybe you want to see your sales order, you want to see your purchase order, you can, if you scroll down all the way, you will be able to see what are the types of transaction you want to select. You want to only view sales order and outbound delivery, or what kind of a blocks you want to just check, and what kind of a information you want to see it. All those you can document it, and you can request your I mean, you can able to view this kind of a information to your customers, or whoever they really want to validate, they can able to look all this information and they can able to see it. And just one thing, keep it in mind, this transaction will be only show you if that particular transaction is in blocked. If that particular transaction is not available in this, mean that you don't that have that particular transaction was blocked for any particular issue. Hope that is clear. Okay, now coming back to our topic where we are talking about some of the master data and organizational data elements. Okay, now let me go back to Excel once again. So what we did, we have created a sales order and we have transferred this information. So you didn't do manually anything here. Okay, however, technically, I think you might have seen while I'm creating a new product sales order, system showed me a pop-up that the particular material is not available. Okay, what does it mean? SAP, while they're developing this solution initially, they thought as soon as the sales order gets created, let's push all the data along with the sales order. But they realized if they're creating a sales order and the particular supplier has some block, or the product has some license missing and all the information, if they're creating at the time of sales order itself, all the time you will have a blocks. You will never have an option that you will clear automatically. So SAP decided, this happened initial phase of their development. Okay, and then what they decided, okay, let's transfer all the information as soon as it's creating in the feeder system. What does it mean? We want to transfer all the supplier, we want to transfer all the, I don't want to call supplier, vendors, you want to transfer materials, you want to transfer prices, all those information. Okay, for now, just imagine that these are the three information I have to transfer. That means that as soon as you create a customer master or supplier master in your S4 HANA system, the data will be flow to your GTS. Okay, what does it mean? As soon as it created to GTS, we will not call a customer in GTS. I mean, this is a way of speaking words in the GTS terminology, business partner. Now you are all using this terminology business partner because of S4 HANA CVA integration. But earlier we always used to call customer only in SAP side. I never used to call business partner this. But GTS using these customers as a business partner. No matter whether it's a customer, no, whether it's a supplier, whether it's a contact person, whatever it is, we always call custom business partner or business partner. I will not generally call material in GTS short. We will call customs product. So this is some of the terminology. If you speaking those, the trade team or your compliance team or customer side will understand, or they can easily relate, because they will talk about these wordings. Not that, okay, they will not speak material. They will always talk customs product. Okay, sorry, not customer. Okay. So these are the sum of terminology. How this data will be transferred to GTS. So as soon as you create a customer, SAP providing options called change pointer. That means that as soon the particular customer gets created, if any changes on the certain elements in your customer master, the master data gets transferred to your GTS. There is some of the basic settings I'm planning to show you today, that as soon as you create a customer master and the customer master is not transferred automatically, then you should be able to also push them into GTS system automatically. What does it mean? You created a customer master and that customer master did not transfer due to some reason. Okay. And you can come to here, and this is the transaction I'm going to talk about, that we call area menu. Okay. That area menu start with this is I mean, if you are SAP person previously working on SAP, the transaction we always has to start with backslash SAP SLL backslash. This is the predefined T code for any transaction you use in SAP GTS world. This is a kind of a plugin level setting. Okay. SLL level setting. So anything related to GTS, you will always have SAP SLL as a prefix. Like if you're trying to create a sales order, we enter VA01, right? Similarly, SAP any GTS transaction, you will have this prefix and the subsequent continuation based on the activity. And if you want to check any GTS related activities in S4, we will use SAP SLL menu underscore legal R3. Okay. This we also call like area menu in SAP. Okay. Okay, let's go back. I'm also trying to share this Excel sheet with you all. And as soon as while we are talking about any discussion, I'm also planning to always trying to discuss about what are the possible transactions. Okay. RT code, also periods we use. Okay. And I'm also gonna talk about some of the information like tables. Okay. On a very much regular basis, we're gonna talk about what are the tables. We will be able to see it. One of the major transaction we always use is SAP SLL, as I mentioned, menu underscore legal. Okay. This is we also call area menu. I mean, in SAP what they did, all those transactions whatever related to this they equipped all this transaction under this particular uh, um, how do you say, it's a kind of a combined transaction. All the list of transaction associated for GTS look available under this particular area menu transaction. Okay. Any GTS transaction, unless until you customized, they might create a GTS or something, but if not, always it start with SAP SLL. The same way the area menu available in as it's R3 side, the transaction or S4 side, we used to have system called R3, R2, R6, all those. Like before ECC, we have this kind of version. While this transaction was created way back, they have created R3 because this is available in R3. Other than if you don't have that R3, this is the same key code available in GTS without R3. Okay. And okay, when I say S4, you can also probably relate that it is also under ECC. Okay. So this is some of the transactions you need to always remember while you are working for GTS. Okay. And when you go back to here, and this is the area menu, and you can select this area menu and click on the transfer. So as you see that transfer, you have two transfer mechanisms. One is transfer, initial transfer of the master data, means you can transfer manually vendors, you can transfer customers, you can transfer contact person. We leave out application for a second, and transfer of materials, transfer of bill of material, and transfer banks, some of the information, procurement information, prices, min max information, material CMIR information, info record related information, all those allocated. Why do you need this? If in case some reason the particular master data is not automatically transferred, either your analyst to analyze that issue, or if the sometime due to some reason it was not transferred, so you will use this transaction to transfer manually. And other major cases, in case of a development, we will not activate automatic transfer of master data to GTS. There is no point, okay, because some people will create for this transaction for different purposes. So we don't really create all those master data to flow to GTS. Those cases also we will use this. So we'll also have SAP also provision that initial transfer of transactional data also. What does it mean? Sales transaction also you can transfer, outbound delivery, billing document, purchases, and material document. So these are the sum of the transaction we can able to transfer from SAP S4 side to GTS. And there is some additional information available. And as I mentioned, as soon as a master data gets created, the data gets transferred to GTS by using concept of change pointer. What does it mean? Either you create a new data or you modify existing data of certain field, system will create an entry in certain backend tables, and that tables get filled with all the information, and we will schedule a jobs to transfer the data. Mean that as soon as you create a customer, within your batch job, if you schedule for every 30 minutes, within a 30 minutes time the data will be transferred to GTS. Kumar, is it not a challenge if you are using your master data after 30 minutes? In a real business world, exceptions are there, but in a real business world, master data creation is a first step to start their project with their customers. It's not that they create a customer and they will immediately create a sales. No, customer creation happens very early, maybe weeks time. Our master data will be available advanced, because this is not specific to customer. Whatever production, whatever new product you are starting, you will start creating the master data in very advanced. So the 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever period you are planning will not really create an issue. But there, as I mentioned, there is exceptions. Some customer will create one-time customers, one-time transaction to them. In such cases, we always align with the business how it should be transfer. We'll at least tell that even you are using a one-time customer, allow system to sync all the data, and if not, you use this transaction to transfer your master data, whatever one-time customer you're planning to create. Okay, so this is some of the business use cases available in GTS, and these are some of the common business scenarios which you encounter as soon as you start working for GTS. Okay, and I'm not really going inside how this configuration works and all. I'm gonna go that in the next session. But today, as I mentioned earlier, we gonna talk about what kind of information available, how we can able to make use of all our GTS systems, and what kind of a transaction you need to talk about it. And we talked about customer master transfers, and this also happened to RFCs. Okay, as soon as you create your master data, you need to have some settings, but this all will flow through RFC. But is it only mechanism will used by SAP? Not really. SAP is used multiple other services, like they use web services or HTTP calls, different mechanism. We're gonna talk about it, but in generally, in a basic process wise, all the data will be get transferred through RFC from S4 to GTS, or vice versa. While it coming back with the response, what response? With the compliance screening response will be also coming back to that. And we also talked about one element called organizational data here. Okay, and we also not, I forgot to document some more information like item category, UOMs, payment terms, and Incoterms. These all data also will be get transferred to your GTS system. Why I'm saying is this is a ARG element. So these are not sometime we will create for a specific to any master data. This will be utilized under your transactions or a sales information, or if you want to create a particular product, you need to maintain unit of measure for that particular product. What does it mean? You want to sell this particular product as a EHS, you want to sell this product as a liters, kilograms. What is the units you are planning to sell? What is the units you are planning to purchase? What is the units you are planning to manufacture? Maybe it can be different, right? You are manufacturing a product, for example, you have a pens company, or you have uh, think that you are manufacturing what do you say, yeah, you have a farm, okay, where you manufacture all the eggs. Okay, the eggs are counted as eaches, right? But you will never sell egg as its own individual element each. You will put them as like dozens or some packets.
Okay, so there will be different unit of measure, what you manufacture, what you sell it, or what you purchase it, okay, what you produce it. So there is a different unit of measure, that also we need to document. So these are the some of the org data. So whether this information also need to be transferred from S4 to GTS, or is it the data available in the GTS, how this will work. So when I saying org elements, 80% of information, okay, like one of the information is company code. When you create a company code, what is the responsibility of the company code? It's a legal and financial responsibility of the entire firm or entire that particular company under that particular company code. So this is also one of the important aspect to be transferred to GTS or to be created in the GTS. When I saying the master data will be transferred from the S4 to GTS, but org data we will not really transfer from the S4, we will create them in GTS. Okay, when I'm transferring this data to GTS, when I'm creating in the GTS, I will not call a company code in GTS because it's not really doing any financial activity. It is only relevant for my foreign trade operations. Basically, company code also liable are responsible for legal elements, legal activities, anything, right? So that's why we call FTO as a short term or in a full abbreviation, foreign trade organization. All the trade related activity will be handled under this company code. Okay, and other than that company code, we will also transfer or create new we will create a new master data or new organizational element as planned, which is also called LU. Okay, we will also call legal unit. Okay, okay, so this is a legal unit. What does it mean when I say LU or a legal unit? Is it equivalent to your plant? Also we call storage location also sometime we call as a legal unit. We will not simply create a storage location as a legal unit. It's a kind of a 80 to 90% of time the legal unit along with storage location plant combination we will create as a legal unit. So why do you calling a legal unit? So from the GTS trade point of view, plant as a location which is obtain that local legal requirements. Okay, company code level it's all laws, okay, what should be followed at the legal above the particular location. It has some rules and regulation guidelines and all, but legal unit is basically you talked about that particular location, or what is the element you need to be followed, what kind of a compliance or where you are starting this business. All those will be considered. Do we consider other elements like purchase or sales? Or no, I don't really worried about who is doing this purchase, who is doing the sales. I don't really care about it. From the GTS point of view, I don't really worried about it. Even I don't really think about, maybe you have a plant of one location and you have multiple shipping points are associated to that. I don't really care about it because the plant itself I will consider as a location. That's it. I don't need to go beyond that point. Kumar, you may ask this question also. Most of the people, shipping point, I have a plant in one country and shipping point in other country. I'm assigning it. Generally, we don't recommend to do. Technically, that is not allowed to, right? You can't create plant in one location and shipping point, but plant in one location, company code in another country, that can be possible, but not shipping point. If you have that question, so we will not transfer or create these two arg elements. We will only create a arg element. One of the important arg element is company code, which is equivalent to your FTO. So from tomorrow, if I'm talking about FTO, that means that you should internally think that I'm talking about a company code from in your federal system. And when I'm talking about LU, we generally like it's like lazy. I don't say laziness. It's like acronyms we generally use. LU means legal unit. Okay, which is equivalent. It can be plant. 80 to 99%. Most of the companies use plants only. They don't go beyond the plant. I mean, each storage location has their own legal unit. No, if they want, SAP is giving that privilege. Okay, but few other things also matters. I will not call these as a arg element. These are the some of the
data which has to be created in your system. Okay, if I create this SAP S4 site, I need to also map these elements to GTS elements also. What does it mean? If you go back to SAP for a second, so if I go back, I have created a sales order, and if you go back here, this is my sales order. I can see there is an item category called TIN. If you are a salesperson, you know the significance of that item category. Item category derive a lot. What should be our what should be our schedule lines, how the procurement has to happen. Lot many things will be derived. This is a base. Okay, so in the GTS side also, based on the item category also, we can able to play the business different business roles. That's why SAP is also transferring or creating information related to item category. And if you all remember, I have entered a word called OR while I'm trying to create a sales order. This is my document type. What does it represent for you? For example, you are doing a normal sales to your customer. Then you will create like maybe ZOR or sales order, but you are doing a written process. You will create a written order. Are you creating like inquiry? Are you trying to create a quotation? Are you trying to create some other different sales transaction type? Or you have to have a create one sales document type for your EDI purposes? Are your and a customer different transaction? It gives you privilege to have your own data. So when you are creating sales order, what are the required information you have to have it? What kind of a checks has to happen? How the pricing has to work? Okay, think that if you create a sales order and if you're trying to sell this particular product, you need to have all the pricing information. But if you're trying to create a credit memo, you don't need to have a similar kind of a setup. You already have price. You are now giving some credit to your customer. So there are two different things. So these are types of your sales transaction which represent their way of the business model. Okay, so this information also we need to transfer to GTS. Okay, so or we will not transfer, or we will create in our GTS system. One of them is document types. It can be sales document types, delivery document types, purchase order document types, any billing document, whatever. We will configure all these here. And we also transfer, we'll also create a unit of measures, we'll also create payment terms, we also create Incoterms, and these are the some of the mandatory requirement how to have in your GTS system to create your sales transaction. Let me quickly go because we have already made system setup ready. Let me try to show you some of the things which how the sales transaction getting created in GTS system, because we are talking about some of the master data, and you see how the customer got, how the sales order got created in S4 side. Now let's see in GTS side. Today I'm just staying with the GUI. Okay, GUI you always have to enter a transaction. So I'm gonna go in compliance export, and I will gonna talk about all these transaction, when you will use what purpose and all. So this is our sales transaction got created. And if you look at sales transaction, it has very minimal information. If you look at the previously sales type, you have like thousands of information: who created, what is the sales area, when it is created, what is the customer group, what is the pricing cruiser, what is all those information, like tons of information. It had tons of information in item. But if you go back to GTS, it only required information will be transferred to GTS. That is only for your global trade operations. That means that what is the global trade operations, like what is your company code? When I say company code in GTS, we will not call as a company code, we call foreign trade organization. 1710 is my company code in my sales order. Okay, if I go back to here, my company code is 1710. So hence when I'm creating my my customs export document, or if you look at here also, right, display customs document, because it's export, we call a customs export document created for company code or foreign trade organization 1710. And it's also try to link from how this document got created. This is my sales order. from this sales order got created from PC 23CLNT 500 customer, and this also tells you what is this document, whether it's a sales order, whether it's a contract, whether it is a customer inquiry, quotation, return delivery, freight order. What is this? It's intercompany. All those will be documented, and when it was created, how it is got transferred, and we also transferring some of the information for Incoterm. Okay, and if you go back to other tab, we can also see the item level information. Okay, I will not go here. When I want to see item level information, I will go down at the general data for particular element, and you see one of the important master data here is legal unit. What is it mean by legal unit? As per previous discussion, equivalent to
Plant.
plant. Thank you. And if I go back to my sales order in S4 side, if I go back here, and if I see what is my plant is 1710. Okay, the plant is got converted into your legal unit, and this is my product master, this is the description, and it is units, quantities, weight, and Incoterm, and some more information like what is the value of this goods. Okay, this is all pricing. If I go back here, the data is transferred 943 euros. So that I got transferred, and some of the information are like partners. I don't have anything at the partners at item level. Let me go here, and I can also see like what are the partners. I have my partners, sold to party, bill to party, pay as, ship to party, where all it came from. If you go back to here in SAP, go to header, you will be able to see partners here. These are the partners I have been transferred to my GTS system. Okay, and don't ask me like I see a different number here 780. We're gonna talk about that in the next session. And I also able to see what is the overall value for this shipment, and you can see like what is the compliance status. Do I have anything incomplete technically, or do I have a compliance block for SPL? There's a embargo is clear, legal control is clear, but we still have any additional information. And here you will be able to see how it got created, as I mentioned, through RFC. So that's why I see a RFC admin. I mean, is it RFC admin because of that I can tell this is RFC? No, because I know this RFC ADM user is entitled with RFC process. Okay, I will show you how that can be created, and a few other information. I'm not going to talk about this now. I'm going to talk about this element, geography. What does it mean? This sales order is created from US, and where it is going to Germany. Okay, and here also I can able to see few additional information if any. And you have seen a document type EXPORD, which is not the same as your S4 side transaction data. We have created like OR, but it got converted into your document. That's what I talked about, right? Whatever information you create from the S4 side, equivalently some information has to be created in the GTS side. These are the some of the elements. And for example, you have 100 different sales orders in the SAP side document, sales order types. Okay, you have ZO or ZO1, ZO2 or ZSP, so on and so forth. But we may not create those many document types in GTS, but what we do is we will try to create maybe, okay, do I see these document types are different from the GTS operational point of view. So for example, your OTC team called you saying that I'm going to create a new sales order type. Okay, do you also need to create a new sales document type? Not really. You will ask them like, okay, what you're trying to do with this? What is the significance of the sales order? Then you need to evaluate it and see if this can be already tagged to existing document type, or do we need to create a new document type? How this got created, I will not go quickly deeper, but I will quickly show you how system is detecting this ZOR to OR. Okay, sorry, not okay. Document type 100%, each and every element will be documented and discussed again and again. Don't worry. See, if you look at here, my document type is OR, and I'm saying to detect a document type is EXPORD. And if you look at here, this is what I'm trying to say. I have these many document types: ZCER, ZOR, ZPO, ZRR. They're different order types. In the GTS, I always tagged all these document types into one single document type, because from the GTS point of view, I don't really care about OR, just CR. Maybe they have some variation from their business model, but global trade point of view, it is not different. If you see different, in case of a global trade, see ZCSR, maybe there is some difference between my global trade operation point of view. That's why I have created ZXPOD, not EXPOD. Okay, the same way I'm also gonna quickly show you how the company code is got detected as a foreign trade arg element. And if I go here, okay, the company code, if you remember, number is 1710. Okay, and what should be the FTO got detected 1710 FTO underscore 1710. Okay, this is one of the configuration we need to perform. And the same way we also have legal units, which is equivalent to your plan, and we also documenting that. Okay, 1710 is tagged with LE17, sorry, LE1710. So today, so far, let me repeat. Today we talked about what are the feeder system transactional data, how this will be transferred, and what are the master data, what are the org elements, what are the some of the configuration element you need to create, you need to configure, map to your GTS system. In the next session, which is maybe I will confirm if it's a plan for weekend, it will be on the next Saturday. We want to have a session from, maybe if all okay, from the 5:30 IST till 7:30 IST, or maximum 8. If that all okay, or even I'm okay even from 5 to 7 or 5:30 to 7:38, anytime, based on your comfort. So what we are going to talk about it, what are the prerequisites, what are the pre-configurations, what are the pre-information you need to know from the S4 side. The same way we also need to understand what are the pre-information, and we always try to document and see with an example. I don't want to tell, I don't want to too much document how the data information gets created and transferred, but this is the basic information and basic flows as a initial kickstart of our GTS training journey. I will wait for next 5 minutes to see if any questions, or 7 minutes by the way.
Hi, Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick question. So, the configuration which you have shown right now, is it from feeder system, right? It is from feeder, right?
No, this is in GTS. I just showed in the
Oh,
GTS. In the
okay.
GTS side, we have configured over to EXPORD and company code 17102 FTO 1710. Don't worry, I mean, those all will be discussed where you should configure what elements and all. I just showed you to relate what we learned so far and how that was really utilized in our GTS process.
Okay, Kumar. One question, last question. So, how we will handle the same in SAP public cloud systems? So, like few of our in our like organization, there are few public cloud implementations. So, like will it be the same like how we discuss in the on HANA, this one, and will it be the same? At least I
I'm not
understand that
really
it might
sure.
change from feeder system,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
will it be the same in the receiving system?
GTS side, it's remains same, Sai Kiran. I can 100% confirm that even it's a public cloud, it is remains same. But only as a point which I can confirm in the next call. But in case of a S4 HANA system, if it's a public cloud, as I mentioned, I know there's a very limited possibility that you can play around it. But the configuration what is SAP is offering will remain same. So you may not be able to do too much configuration what you really wanted, like other public private clouds you have it. So the scope, what you can do is very limited, but the configuration nodes are still available to make S4 site settings. Okay, we will gonna talk that when we start in the next call related to S4 configurations.
Thank you,
Uh,
Kumar.
shall I ask,
Yeah, go ahead,
Kumar?
Devashish.
Yeah. So, point one is like I have heard this terminology often, like on cloud, on premise, okay, migration on rise. Okay, so what are the differences if you could guide?
Sure, sure. So I think you talked about two different things. Okay, migration on a rise, okay, and on premises and cloud. Okay, so public cloud or a private cloud, even within the cloud also there is a two different terminology, public and private cloud.
private cloud means you as a customer asking SAP to give a space for you. Okay, they will dedicate a space and they will also install your SAP S4 whatever systems and they will give it to you. Okay, and if it's using a public cloud, SAP will not dedicatedly provide a space. They will configure on SAP system and they will hand over their SAP systems to multiple customers. But they are promising that whatever customer created by certain A customer will not be visible by customer B. It is completely like same system with multiple customers. That's why they have a limitation. If you want to use a public cloud, the configuration you cannot simply change A to B, B to C and whatever, because it might impact others. So it's a very much like if you are in a public cloud and you are working as a consultant, it's a pain that you have handcuffed with all your hands. You can't do anything that easily. You need to find a ways to get things done within SAP permissions and all. So technically that is the reason. And the last word which you used, Debasis, is a RISE. So RISE is a platform, or RISE is a process which SAP does. It's, I mean, I don't want to say this, but in a layman terminology, SAP is turning their way of business from product company to service company. They are taking care everything. That means that you have your old ECC system and they will ask to convert your SAP GTS system to RISE system. What does it mean? Everything controlled by them. And if you remember early days, you have your own SAP instance. If you want to restart, you go ahead and restart. Your basis consultant will come and restart your mission. Are you, if you basis can't want to do something, they can do it. Now with the RISE as a mechanism, it controlled by SAP. Means SAP, there is a team called ECR team, and that team will be hosting all the activities from the SAP front itself. Means the database holds by SAP, the installations has to be held by SAP. But don't look at as a functional consultant, you don't see any difference. But if you are a part of a basis, or you're planning to do ask for a restart, or you're planning to ask some kind of a client to open, or you want to do some kind of a system level settings changes, that all is now under control by SAP. RISE is a kind of a platform which SAP use to migrate, controlled with them. In a nutshell, they have all their control to make the system work if there is an issue. And they're also saying that downtime, I think 99.99% means SAP will never down if it's a production system. Okay, because they take care of all the security patches. Like if you all remember in the olden days, every weekend or every 2 weeks we used to do a kind of a weekend activity. Not now, I mean, I think 10 to 15 years back I used to do this. On a weekend we used to monitor all those systems. They used to down the system, make some patches upgrade, and they used to validate all the system behavior. Now those all activities are reduced because SAP itself doing centrally with kind of a very minimal impact to the business operations.
Understood. Question 2 would be like, will we be configuring from scratch, like all the end-to-end configurations and integrations in the course? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I would say that, I mean, I would say yes. The reason is I will show maybe EXPOD, but as you are a consultant, you will get the training access. You create maybe each individual, I will allocate number, so it'll easy. You will not mess with others. Or if you don't want to do that, you can, whoever really want to create with G W15 with your maybe, for example, Devashish, right? DB. Okay. G, I mean, create your nomenclature like that. Or G Devashish 1, I mean, like that. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. Okay. G money 1, G money 2, G one, like create like sales document type or in a GTS side, and you map yourself. So then 100% I'm telling you, if you do that only, you will understand more and more configuration knowledge. Okay. If you simply use, okay, I created a EXPOT because I know settings, I made it already ready available. But if you want to do something, start floating, but not immediately. But once you pass that particular training program, then only you start it. If not, you will have unnecessary questions, which I can't explain at this point in time.
Understood. Understood. You said yesterday that you will be sharing the course details in some
Schedule.
SAP site Learning Hub, correct?
Yeah.
if you could, please.
Already available, and I want to do that at the end of the program. So of this today. So that's why I was holding that. Any other question in parallel?
So Kumar, you will be providing the schedule like every day what you will be covering so that we can come prepared.
Sure, sure. I will prepare that and share it with the team. They will publish to you all. Okay. But just to keep it in mind, sometime we may be having more interactive questions and we was not able to complete. But I think this schedule, whatever we are planning, is 80% tentative and 20% can slightly slip here and there. Okay. Okay. So if you're all having SAP access to you, or if you don't, you create your one SAP ID. It just that as soon as you launch this particular URL, just go to your user icon and it will allow you to create. And these are the some of the training programs I would always recommend it to do it. If you go to your learning.sap and there's a program called discovering the SAP basics of your SAP GTS, and it will tell you what does it mean, how it started, what is the SAP trade compliance, SAP and preference management, customs. But I would only ask you to, I mean, this also give you a certificate also once you complete your course. Okay. I would recommend to do this, but in a parallel note, right? If you want to do, you do today this and maybe do one or two active like a trade compliance and custom. If you are comfortable, you are able to understand quickly, go ahead and complete this course and come prepare with your question when we are talking about that particular module. Okay.
Okay.
And other course also, this is next level, but don't start this first. I would always recommend to use this discover SAP global trade service as a first training document, then go to the second one is a configurable one. Okay, this is next level. Okay, configuring essential functional trade, this will give you kind of a basic configuration. Okay, but this does not understand 100% tell you like okay you can able to master. That's where I am there to help you how to connect the dots. Okay, these two training documents will give you insights of all the knowledge, and I will be helping you to connect the dots, like what is the scenarios, how you can able to utilize if you stuck with certain things, and this particular scenario can be deviated like this, all those things. But I want you guys to go through these two training programs first in parallel, and that will also give you more insight. That's the one of the help I can provide, and which also gives you more confidence on SAP GTS. Think one point I will always tell you, this gives you once you understand end to end only, but once you feel okay I'm able to do it by reading this, you will be able to do that, but after 2 days you will completely disappear from your mind. Okay, please try to document, read through, come back with more questions and connect the dots. That will help you to navigate. Okay, I will
Can
share
you
it with,
share us the links?
yeah, I will I think I can able to place in that call itself. Wait 1 second.
But going to learning.sap.com, does it require a SAP user ID and password to enter
You can
that?
also create your own. It
Okay,
doesn't
any
require
is open
your
to all.
customer. I mean, if you have from your customer, well, and I mean, it's okay. I think I'm not sure. I don't want to comment, but if you don't have, you should be able to create one.
So
Doesn't
does it
even.
make a difference like if you have a customer ID or you create your own ID, so
Yeah.
there will be
Sure.
differences in that?
No, I would recommend to create your own,
Okay.
because if it's a customer one, maybe one day they may ask you to hand
Why
over
you
that.
are accessing this?
Yeah, this is one reason I'm always recommended to use your own. I think it is not letting me copy here. Try one last time. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to just play around with my iMac, but it is little. But yeah, let me share this soon with you.
Yeah, you can give it to Naveen, and Naveen can share his share with us.
Let me do that. I mean, that is easiest thing, and I will ask Naveen to share with you all. Okay, so you will get it in a couple of minutes from now. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, team? I mean, I were able to answer only to two, but I think try asking me questions, and if there is if you got your question answered, I think you can let me know. Okay, but if any other question, last question.
Any homeworks that you'll be giving for every
Today,
class?
I'm not really able to see that, but if you all receive SAP systems, right, from the Naveen team, please make sure you set up your all the systems like your S4, check their access, and check how the try to create a sales order. If you're already a SD persons or anyone, try to create a sales order and try to see how the data is being flown, what kind of a pop-ups coming up. That is only the homework for today. I will make sure from the tomorrow next section onwards, you will have a plenty enough. But meanwhile, as a big homework, please go through the discovery of SAP GTS, at least the basics and compliance. If you complete those two by next week, it will be more helpful for you to understand or ask more questions to me. Clear?
Okay.
Any other last questions? Okay, so if no other
Yeah.
question, thank you so much, guys, and talk to you next Sunday.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Tulsi, Tulsi. Naveen ఉన్నారా?